Chapter 902. Say something, Lord Su. Wei Liao couldn't stay calm anymore. I can't say. Then you can't prove your innocence. As the owner of this house, there were witnesses who said that you were in your bedroom, and the victim jumped from your bedroom. You're the only one missing from the surveillance footage. Young Master Su, we have reason to believe that you have something to do with this. Please cooperate with us and follow us back to the station for investigation. Gao Ran was a very upright person. Although he was usually joking around, he had sharp tongue. However, when it came to handling cases, he was swift and decisive. He wouldn't give face to Su Yu just because the other party was Su Yu. He still wanted to do business as usual. Su Yu nodded. Okay, I'll go back with you. You can also investigate what happened. Watching Su Yu follow Gao Ran's car back to the police station, everyone's expression became complicated. I feel like Lord Su is protecting someone. Could it be the real murderer? Tang Chuan said hesitantly. Jiang Xiaowei said coldly. I feel like someone is deliberately framing Su Yu and making him the scapegoat. Wei Liao nodded. I agree, I think so too. Even Zhao Qingya has never entered Lord Su's bedroom. He wouldn't bring a strange woman there. So, they don't believe that Su Yu has something to do with this. But where did Lord Su go when he disappeared? Tang Chuan asked. Jiang Xiaowei was silent. Wei Liao was silent. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu's female assistant and waved his hand. When did President Su leave the house? Around 8 p.m. Where did he go? The female assistant shook her head. I don't know, but President Su said that if anyone asked, we should tell them that he went back to his bedroom. Wow, what a coincidence, Tang Chuan sighed. Su Yu wouldn't be so stupid. If he really did it, he wouldn't have taken the initiative to tell others that he was in the bedroom. So, is this a coincidence, or is someone trying to frame you? Tang Chuan continued to ask. We'll have to wait for the police's conclusion. The group of people were worried, sick, and sick at heart. They were no longer in the mood to stay. The news of Su Yu being taken away and the murder in the Su family's villa spread like wildfire. The reporters who were squatting at the door were worried that they wouldn't have anything to report, but now they had. A life had been lost at once. Therefore, most of the headlines on the second day were a strange murder case occurred at Star Imperial's President Su's birthday banquet, suspected to be related to him, assisting police in investigation. When the Su family found out, they couldn't sit still. Old Master Su went directly to the police station to bail him out. The police chief was so scared that he wanted to get up and pour tea for him personally. Chief, why are you here? Bureau Chief Liao nodded and bowed. You arrested my grandson, so of course I have to bail him out. But this matter hasn't been investigated thoroughly yet, Chief. Bureau Chief Liao seemed to be in a difficult position. There were so many pairs of eyes watching, and so many media outlets were paying attention to this matter. If he let Su Yu out directly, he might be scolded by the people for being an idiot. Then can I see my grandson first? Master Lord Su's face was full of anger. Yes, this way, please. Bureau Chief Liao led Master Lord Su all the way to the interrogation room. Su Yu was treated well and was drinking tea. Grandpa, why are you here? You little brat, such a big thing happened. How can I not come? Master Lord Su looked at his grandson with heartache. I'm fine. You're still laughing? Tell me the truth, what happened? Master Lord Su asked angrily. Grandpa, it really has nothing to do with me. I don't know that woman, and I've never been to the crime scene. I knew it. You didn't do it, right? Master Lord Su knew his grandson well. If Su Yu said he didn't do it, then he definitely didn't. Did you hear that? It's not my grandson. Hurry up and let him go. Master Lord Su ordered stubbornly. Bureau Chief Liao looked like he was about to cry. Old Chief, don't make it difficult for me, okay? If I find out the truth, I'll definitely let him go. It's okay. I'm not afraid of the investigation. You guys investigate properly. I also want to know who did it. Su Yu was full of confidence. Just then, Gao Ran walked in with some documents. He walked up to Bureau Chief Liao and said, Bureau Chief, the test results are out. The victim took drugs before she died, and the urine test was positive. She wasn't sexually assaulted, but... Continue, Bureau Chief Liao ordered. But there were traces of young Master Su's skin under the victim's fingernails, so We have reason to believe that the victim was in contact with him, or that he pushed her downstairs. Are you fucking kidding me? Suyu was furious when he heard this. He stood up and pointed at Gao Ran. Chapter 903. I'm not joking with you. Director Liao, take a look. This is the test report. Then, Gao Ran handed him the report. Director Liao's expression was serious after reading it. Old Chief, this. Director Liao seemed to be in a difficult position. Although he couldn't afford to offend Chief Su, the law was the same as the law. However, if the emperor broke the law, he would be punished the same as the commoners. Moreover, all the media outlets were reporting on this matter. If he publicly bailed Suyu out, the consequences would be unimaginable. I guarantee with my military rank that my grandson would never do such a thing. Old Master Su was furious as well. He had watched his grandson grow up and had been in the military for so many years. He still had a sense of right and wrong. No matter how much trouble he caused, he wouldn't do such a heinous thing. I know, Chief. I also believe that young Master Su wouldn't, but now that we have evidence, we are in a difficult position. At this moment, Suyu looked at his grandfather and suddenly said, Grandpa, you should go home first. Old Master Lord Su looked at Suyu with heartache, as if he had 1,000 things to say. Grandpa, trust me, I didn't do it. I want to get to the bottom of this. I don't want to take the blame for nothing. You should go. I'll stay and continue to cooperate with the investigation. You, Old Master Lord Su looked at his grandson with a frown, extremely conflicted. Suyu held his grandfather's hand. Trust me. The men of the Su family won't be tripped up so easily. Finally, Old Master Su let out a long sigh. Then he said, Grandpa will wait for you at home. Okay. Finally, Old Master Su drove away. The media went crazy with the news. Some people even posted on forums that Suyu's murder was proven. The military chief's grandfather went to the police station to negotiate, but to no avail. As soon as this post came out, everyone was in an uproar. Suyu looked down and carefully recalled everything that happened last night. He vaguely remembered that in the chaos, a woman seemed to have fallen. Then, he reached out his hand like a gentleman. The woman's nails were too long, and accidentally he scratched the back of his hand. Was the skin shavings from that time? He didn't even see what the woman looked like before he turned around and left. Why would he care if she was Zhao Qingya's sister? Besides, why didn't he know that Zhao Qingya had a younger sister? Was she really trying to take revenge for her sister and frame him? How did a woman without any power do it? First of all, how did she get into the villa without an invitation? A series of questions appeared in Suyu's mind. He lowered his head and tried to recall what had happened. He was trying to find a breakthrough. Jiang Xiaowei told Huamin what had happened over the phone. Huamin listened quietly. Huamin, do you think Suyu is the murderer? Jiang Xiaowei asked over the phone. Of course not, Huamin denied directly. But he did disappear for a while, about 10 minutes or so. Even the surveillance cameras couldn't find him. We asked him, but he wouldn't tell us. Between 8:08 and 8:20, Suyu didn't explain himself either. We were all confused. Jiang Xiaowei continued to complain. Huamin's heart sank. That was when she met Suyu. Of course, the surveillance cameras couldn't see it because Suyu jumped over the wall. But why didn't Suyu tell the truth? Was it to protect her reputation? Huamin fell into deep thought. Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei called his name twice over the phone. Only then did Huamin come back to his senses. Continue. Huamin, if Zhao Qingya really jumped off the building to frame Suyu to get revenge, do you think she's capable enough to do it? Do you think she had an accomplice? I'm not sure. The police will have to investigate. Yeah, the Gao Ran has been investigating, and our director is furious. He's made this a top priority. This morning, Chief Su went to bail Suyu out, but he didn't. The results showed that Suyu's skin was under the victim's fingernails. He's in big trouble now. How did this happen? Huamin frowned slightly. He didn't think that things would be so serious. Chapter 904. Uncle Li, why are you here? When Suyu saw Li Zhongtong, he was quite surprised. He was a famous lawyer in the country, And most importantly, he was the lawyer used by the heads of state in the military region. He had a top law firm in Beijing, and his disciples were all famous lawyers in the country. Your grandfather called me, so I immediately flew over. Li Zhongtong was someone that Lord Su valued very much. Every time he went to Beijing for a meeting, they would definitely drink tea and chat. Now that he was using such a powerful person, he definitely didn't want anything to happen to his grandson. In fact, Lord Su's feelings were understandable. My grandfather is making a big deal out of nothing, huh? Suyu giggled and played dumb. It's a matter of life and death. Do you think it's making a big deal out of nothing? Do you know how serious the crime of premeditated murder is? I know, but I didn't kill anyone. I'm innocent. You're innocent, not with your mouth. We need evidence now, Lawyer Li said sternly. Uncle Li, it's not that serious. You're thinking too much. Little brat, you don't know anything. Okay, cut the crap. Answer my questions. Okay. Suyu nodded and didn't dare to be negligent. The victim's name is Zhao Xia, Zhao Qingya's younger sister. Zhao Qingya has been in prison for a while. Outsiders don't know, but her family does. So, she might be taking revenge on purpose, right? It should be otherwise. She wouldn't have sacrificed her life to frame me. I have no grudge against her. Suyu analyzed. Have you met Zhao Xia before? No, I've never seen her before. Then why is there dandruff tissue under her fingernails? Lawyer Li asked slowly as he fiddled with the recording pen. There were a lot of people at the birthday party yesterday, and many of them were female companions brought by the guests. I didn't know any of them. At that time, a girl fell down, and I didn't see her face clearly. When I helped her up, her fingernails were quite long, and she scratched me. I thought it was unintentional, so I didn't pay much attention to it. That might be the only time she had skin contact with me. Yes, your house's surveillance has been tampered with. It's very interesting. There are surveillance cameras outside, but only the ones inside the villa are missing. Also, the surveillance cameras found that you had finally left for more than 10 minutes, but there was no trace of you in any corner. So, where did you go? Uncle Li, don't ask anymore. This question, the police have asked me countless times already. I won't answer. But this question is very important. If you explain it clearly, you might be able to clear your name. No, I can't say. Who are you protecting? Lawyer Li asked. Suyu reached out his hand and touched the corner of his eye. His expression was complicated. You have to think about it carefully. If someone wants to frame you, this scheme is too meticulous. Maybe the person you're protecting is one of them. Don't be fooled by her. She won't, Uncle Li. I know her well. Is it a woman? Lawyer Li asked tentatively. Don't ask anymore. Anyways, I won't say anything. I really didn't do anything. I didn't go into the bedroom. I didn't see Zhao Xia. I didn't force her to eat those things. I didn't push her downstairs or anything. Okay, I understand. Uncle Li, don't let my grandpa continue investigating. If I don't want to say anything, then it means that it's very important to me. If you want to investigate the person I'm protecting because you want to clear my name, then I won't forgive you. So he was actually very worried. Once his grandpa used his power, it was too scary. Huamin would definitely be found out. If his grandpa found out, it would cause an even bigger commotion. So you said the ugly things first. Lawyer Li didn't say anything. He only said, you little brat, you've grown up. You're a real man now. So you didn't know if this was a compliment or a derogatory one. He was just worried that his grandpa wouldn't vent his anger on more people. Huamin was restless the entire day. When he had dinner with Qin Shu, his eyes were also wandering. Honey, what's wrong? Qin Shu put down his chopsticks and asked. Chapter 905. Honey, I want to talk to you about something, huh? What is it? Didn't I go to the birthday party yesterday? Suyu's party? I told you about it before. Yeah, I wanted to return the bullet shell to him, but he didn't want it. He said that he wouldn't take back what he gave away. I don't have to use the bullet shell, and I can throw it away, but I don't want to return it. Okay, then just leave it there. Qin Shu didn't think it was necessary to make a big deal out of it, since it was just a bullet shell. Then, I snuck out, you know that, right? I didn't want to be a bad influence, so Suyu snuck out to see me. We talked for about 10 minutes, and when I left, it was exactly 8:20 p.m. Honey, what are you trying to say? Qin Chu could tell that Huamin was beating around the bush, and her gaze was very evasive. So he asked her directly, "Honey, did you know that something happened to Suyu?" "Yes, the whole city is talking about it." Qin Chu nodded and didn't deny it. "Actually, I heard from Jiang Xiaowei that Suyu disappeared from the surveillance cameras, and that's why he's being suspected. He was with me for about 10 minutes, and we were talking, so I'm his only witness. So what do you want to do?" Qin Chu's expression became complicated. He seemed to have guessed what his wife was going to say. "Honey, I want to testify for Suyu." "No." Qin Chu refused without hesitation. "Honey, why not?" Huamin bit her lip and looked at Qin Chu pitifully. "It's simple. If you go, you won't be able to explain yourself. Think about it. What would people think if GK's a young lady was with Suyu at 8 o'clock at night, in a corner where the surveillance cameras can't see? But if I don't testify, he'll be wronged." Jiang Xiaowei said that Suyu didn't want to talk for more than 10 minutes. "I guess he wanted to protect me. The more he does this, the more uneasy I feel. I know what I'll face if I testify. But honey, as long as you trust me, I don't care what others say." Huamin felt that Qin Chu would understand her. However, she had overestimated Qin Chu's heart. After all, Qin Chu loved her deeply. How could he not care about this matter? Especially when that person was Suyu. "Mian, you need to know that with Suyu's family background, he can get away without you being a witness. Do you know who his grandfather hired? Li Zhongtong. Do you know who he is? He's a famous lawyer in Jing City. He's never lost a case." Qin Chu was well aware of this, so he knew that Suyu would be fine. At most, it would be a little troublesome, and he'd have to stay at the police station for a few more days. Huamin put down her chopsticks and looked at Qin Chu seriously. "I know that his grandfather hired a lawyer, and I know that the lawyer is very good. I also know that the Su family won't lose the case. So you'll be fine." "Then what are you going to do?" Qin Chu was obviously jealous. He thought that Huamin was too nervous. Was it because she was worried about Suyu? Although he didn't want to think that way, he was still unhappy to see Huamin so worried about Suyu. "I'm going because I can testify at the police station and get Gao Ran to drop the case. You know how much damage it will do to Suyu's reputation if the case goes to court. But do you know how much damage it will do to you if you go? Is Suyu more important to you than yourself?" Perhaps Qin Chu was angry, so he didn't know what to say. Huamin was slightly surprised. Then, he looked at Qin Chu with disappointment. "What do you mean by that?" "You know what I mean. Anyways, I won't let you go. I advise you not to do that." After speaking, Qin Chu got up and left the dining table. He went straight upstairs to the study. They hadn't argued in a long time. Now, because of Suyu, they were very unhappy. Huamin felt like someone poured a bucket of water on his head. Huamin once saw a particularly good saying on Weibo. "In a man's world, they will always think that if you love me, you won't leave me. In a woman's world, they will always think that if you love me, you will come and find me. So, in the end, you didn't ask me to stay, and I didn't turn back." Many lovers were like this. They were so angry that they missed each other for life. Because both of them had different thoughts, Qin Chu felt that Huamin cared about Suyu and was worried about Suyu, so he was full of jealousy. Huamin, on the other hand, felt that because of his appearance, Suyu left the surveillance cameras and was suspected. So, he wanted to clarify the matter. He wanted to prove Suyu's innocence. She turned on her phone and logged into Weibo, wanting to write something, but, to her surprise, she saw that Suyu had sent her a private message. She slowly opened it, and when she saw what he said, her heart ached. Chapter 906. Because Suyu wrote, "Stupid girl, I know you're a loyal person, so you'll probably feel uneasy when you hear that something happened to me. So I'm reminding you not to come to the police station to testify for me. I'm the son of a wealthy family, so even if I don't need you, I'll still be fine. I'll just be drinking tea at the police station for 2 days, so don't be stupid. Otherwise, when I get out, I'll peel your skin and pull out your tendons." Suyu's words were too Suyu style. It was ridiculously awesome, and it even contained a threat. It was domineering. However, Huamin knew all too well that he was still worried about implicating her, so he warned her not to go. But the more he was like this, the more uneasy Huamin felt. She wasn't Mary Sue, so she wouldn't be overflowing with compassion and want to save everyone. She just saw through the fickleness of human nature over the years, so she knew how to be grateful and know how to repay a drop of water with a spring. Because in this world, no one has the obligation to treat you well without asking for anything in return. She remembered that not long ago, she saw a very popular post on her WeChat Moments. Many people want to treat you to dinner at night, but few can buy you breakfast. Many people want to treat you to drinks, but few can take care of you when you're drunk. Many people care about you when you're sick, but few can take you to the doctor and buy you medicine. Many people want to add flowers to your brocade, but few can help you when you're in need. Many people want to pursue you, but few are willing to be responsible for you. Many people talk big, but few can help you when you're in trouble. So, we must cherish those friends who are worth cherishing. If Huamin had never treated Suyu as a friend before, then at this moment, she was going to break her promise. Because there were really too few friends like Suyu. Strangers wouldn't protect you without caring about anything. Huamin felt that if she didn't do anything and continued to pretend to be mute, then watch Suyu go in and out of the police station, her conscience would be uneasy. She wouldn't be able to sleep well at night. She was silent for a long time, and finally replied to Suyu. From this moment on, you, Suyu, are my friend, Huamin. When he saw the reply, Suyu was overjoyed. He was as happy as a child who had won first place in an exam. In the middle of the night, he sat on the chair in the interrogation room. It was boring, and he drank pot after pot of tea and coffee. It was said that the police officers would organize the information and start to prosecute him tomorrow before going to court. Although it would take some time, he believed that he would definitely be acquitted. Firstly, it was because she did not do those things. Secondly, it was because Uncle Lee had never lost a lawsuit. It was just a small punishment. Many actresses from Imperial Star were coming to visit, including Jian Tong, Wei Liao, and Tang Chuan. However, Suyu refused to meet him. The reason was simple. He didn't want to repeat the same thing over and over again. He wouldn't tell them where he went in those 10 minutes. In fact, everyone really wanted to know what and who Suyu was protecting. When Huamin returned to the bedroom, Qin Chu was still in the study. She knew that he was angry. Huamin went in, took a hot shower, and went to bed. Then, she set the alarm and went to sleep. She didn't think she did anything wrong. Qin Chu didn't believe her. He was thinking too much. It was good for him to calm down. Qin Chu didn't come in until it was almost dawn. Looking at Huamin, who was sleeping soundly, his eyes turned from cold to gentle. Although he was still angry at her, he still thought she was cute when she slept. He couldn't get enough of her. In the study, he smoked a whole pack of cigarettes. He finished all 20 small Russian cigars. He was in a bad mood. However, thinking about it, Huamin was probably just asking for his opinion. If he didn't agree, she probably wouldn't make the decision. After all, this matter had a huge impact. When Huamin woke up in the morning, Qin Chu was already gone. There was warm milk and sandwiches on the table. Even if they were in a cold war, he didn't forget to make her breakfast. Huamin's heart warmed. She finished the milk and drove to the police station. Huamin, why are you here? Gao Ran was surprised to see Huamin so early in the morning. Gao Ran, I want to testify for Suyu. Huamin said word by word. What did you say? Gao Ran was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 907. Gao Ran. Suyu refused to say that he disappeared from the surveillance cameras at 8:08 that day, because he was with me at that time. With you? Gao Ran was even more surprised. Then, Huamin roughly explained the entire situation. Gao Ran was completely petrified. It took him a while to react. But you have no proof. How do you prove that you were outside the mansion at that time? Gao Ran was a police officer, so he was very particular about evidence. I didn't drive that day, so I took a taxi. Because it was rush hour and there was traffic, it wasn't easy to get a taxi. So, I used a taxi app and paid for it. Now, I still have the amount and the driver's phone number in my phone. You can check it. Okay. Huamin, you're amazing. Gao Ran knew that Huamin was a very meticulous person. Once he came, he must have thought about a lot of things. So, can you let Suyu go now? Huamin asked softly. Gao Ran was silent for a moment and asked back, Huamin, Does Qin Chu know that you're testifying for Suyu? Huamin bit his lip and said quietly, he didn't want me to come because he was afraid that my reputation would be damaged and that I would be under a lot of pressure. Then why did you still do it? But this is my bottom line. Gao Ran, I can't just watch Suyu go to court to protect me. I know he won't lose, but once he goes to court, his reputation will be tarnished. We're both human beings. Why should I protect my own interests and let a friend who's trying to protect me go to court? I really can't do that. Huamin, am not a saint. I can't save the world, but I will never let my friend get hurt because of me. I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. After hearing Huamin's words, Gao Ran nodded in understanding. In fact, Huamin was a very stubborn person. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind easily. Moreover, she was especially unwilling to implicate others, so being able to testify was very much in line with her personality. As for Qin Shu, Gao Ran still felt that the aftermath of this matter could develop very badly. So, she asked again worriedly, Huamin, it's not too late to regret now. I'll pretend that I never saw you. You can leave. Let's go. I still have to go to work after testifying. Time is precious. After speaking, Huamin took the lead and walked in. Gao Ran knew that he definitely cannot stop them. Huamin made a detailed statement at the police station and provided a lot of details. In the end, after careful consideration, he found that it was reasonable. With Huamin as a witness, Suyu's name was immediately cleared. Interrogation room. Gao Ran walked in, looked at Suyu, and said faintly, Can you go now? Go. Aren't you going to sue me? Suyu asked Gao Ran in return. No, someone is here to testify for you, Gao Ran said as he looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. To be honest, Gao Ran didn't like Suyu. This was because he personally witnessed the love between Qin Shu and Huamian in high school. He knew very well how much Qin Shu loved Huamin, so he didn't want anyone to get involved. Testify for me. Suyu stood up with a whoosh. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Don't look at me like that. Huamin really did come. You should know that in your heart. She's the only witness. How could she? Suyu frowned. He had threatened her and told her not to come. Why did she still come? This woman was so arrogant that she treated his words like farts. So you're free now. Congratulations, Gao Ran said coldly. Then, he opened the door and left. When Suyu walked out of the police station, a lot of reporters surrounded him. President Su, do you have anything to say about this case? President Su, did the police release him? Was it because of the pressure from the Su family, or because you were cleared of suspicion? Can you tell us more? President Su, didn't you say you were going to sue? Why did they suddenly release him? Was there a turning point for the better? Did the police find new leads? Can you tell us more? Faced with a swarm of reporters, Suyu's mind went blank. Right now, he only wanted to see one person. Huamin. He wanted to see her immediately. The feeling was so strong. Without a care, he walked straight into his sports car without saying a word. Dozens of cars came to pick up Suyu. They put his beloved car, the Lamborghini Elemental, at the top of the list. He got in his sports car and drove straight to Southside Recuperation Center. Chapter 908. Huamin finished his rounds and was about to head back to his office to organize his files. That was when Suyu arrived. He had been at the police station for 48 hours, so he didn't even have time to shave. He looked messy and beautiful. When he saw Huamin, he strode over. Without saying a word, he grabbed Huamin's arm. Huamin jumped in fright. What are you doing? Huamin was surprised to see Suyu. Shouldn't he go home and tell his family that he was safe? Stupid girl, why did I send you a private message on Weibo last night? Huamin remained silent. Do you think I'm bullshitting? Suyu asked angrily. Huamin remained silent. Speak. This was the first time he spoke to her in such a harsh tone because he was really angry. It's my job to be a witness. You didn't intend to commit murder, so why did you have to go to court? Huamin raised his head and asked Suyu, word for word, I told you I can take care of it myself. But if you go to court, even if you win, your reputation will be tarnished. I don't want you to be accused of murder for the rest of your life. I don't want people to use this as a joke to make fun of you. But do you know how serious the consequences of doing this are? Do you know what you'll have to face if the police reveal the reason why I'm innocent? You'll be condemned by everyone. Huamin, are you crazy? Do you think you're God? Why don't you go to heaven? Suyu was furious. Huamin stepped forward and helped him, but he put himself in danger. This wasn't what he wanted. What's wrong with that? I don't care what other people think. What about Qin Shu? Will he understand you? Suyu asked coldly. Huamin remained silent. Qin Shu had always understood her, but this was the only thing he couldn't understand. You're too impulsive. You're just one step away. As long as I go to court today, I can go home and everything will be over. But I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. Huamin said word by word. Suyu was slightly stunned when he heard this. Suyu, I have my own principles. You don't have to teach me what to do. If I, Huamin, want to do something, even 10 bulls can't pull me back. On the contrary, if I don't want to do something, even if you chop off my head, I won't be moved. You don't have to be so angry, and you don't have to be moved by me helping you. This is what I should do. I'm that important witness, and you were with me when you were under suspicion. No matter what others say, you didn't kill anyone. You're innocent, and now I have a clear conscience. Now you can go now. After speaking, Huamin turned around and walked into her office as if nothing had happened. She slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Suyu stood at the door, stunned. For a moment, he actually had the urge to hug her fiercely. But he resisted the urge. Huamin. This name was deeply ingrained in his heart. Huamin had become a special kind of religion in his heart. This woman was unbelievably arrogant. She had a halo around her that he couldn't extricate himself from. After Suyu came out, the Public Security Bureau released an official Weibo post. They wrote down Hua Min's testimony in detail, including the location and time of their meeting. They also wrote down the number of Hua Min's taxi driver and the route they took. As soon as this news came out, Weibo, forums, and all the major media outlets immediately blew up. Huamin was pushed to the center of attention. Her Weibo was flooded by tens of thousands of people. Most of the comments were scolding her, and the one with the most comments was pinned at the top. Shameless woman. She already has Qin Shu, but she still flirted with Suyu. What a bitch. Huamin scrolled through her Weibo without batting an eyelid. She was already used to this kind of slander. Moreover, when she went to the police station, she had already expected this kind of ending. At this moment, her phone beeped. She received a WeChat message. She thought it was from Lingling or Xiaowei. However, she didn't expect it to be from Qin Shu. It was just 6 simple words, but it cut Huamin's heart like a knife. Qin Shu said, "I'm very disappointed in you." Chapter 909. Yes, Qin Shu said that he was disappointed in her, and this sentence was more painful than anything else. She hesitated for a long time before finally replying, "I don't think I did anything wrong." Yes, until now, she still didn't think she did anything wrong. Only by testifying for Su would she not feel guilty and would she feel righteous. After waiting for a long time, Qin Shu still didn't reply. She knew that he was really angry. Before she got off work, Zhu Lingling, Jiang Xiaowei, and the others bombarded her with calls and WeChat messages. She wasn't in the mood to reply. She simply replied with a sentence and then rejected them with the excuse that she needed to see a patient. In the afternoon, she went to the VIP room on the top floor to see An Yang. An Yang was also paying attention to this incident and even posted on Weibo to support her. However, he lost a lot of fans because everyone thought that he was trying to suck up to a young lady of GK. When they were at the door, Sister Ingzi specifically asked Huamian to comfort An Yang. "Hey, patients aren't allowed to play computer games. Put it down." As soon as Huamin walked in, she began to lecture An Yang. An Yang turned around and saw that it was Huamin. He immediately put down the tablet in his hand. "Oh my, Huamin, how can you still laugh? The world outside is turning upside down. Am I supposed to cry?" Huamin walked over and sat down across from An Yang. She picked up an orange, peeled it, and handed it to An Yang. "Oranges and kiwis are high in vitamin C. Remember to eat more." "Sister Huamin, you're all over the news right now, do you know that?" "I know. You've been defamed so badly. I went on Weibo to help you and got defamed. A lot of people can't tell right from wrong and turn from fans to haters. Fuck, there's so many idiots who don't know the truth. And Ah Young knew what kind of person Min was, so he stood up for him. As a public figure, you shouldn't be so irrational. You even want to argue with your fans. You must be drunk. Hurry up and delete your Weibo. No, I've already said that I'll support you to the end. And Ah Young was resolute. Those people must be scolding you for having bad morals, right? Min asked with a smile. How did you know? Sister, you really can predict things like a god. Just think about it. They must be repeating the same words over and over again. Min was very calm. He peeled another orange for himself and ate it. But what's going on? You're not really having an affair with Suyu, are you? Cough, cough. What about our legs? Stinking brat. Do you also think I'm that kind of woman? Of course not. I just think that you might have been touched by Suyu, haha. After all, the song he sang last time, even I was moved. Those in the know all knew that the song was for Min, not Jiantong. Min licked his lips and didn't say anything else. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Get ready for the surgery in the next few days. So soon? You've already decided? Yes, we've been preparing for a long time. We're just waiting for the surgeons to arrive. One of them went out of town for a meeting, and we're waiting for him. To make sure that nothing goes wrong, we've assigned 1 surgeon and 3 assistants. That's so grand, it's perfect. And Ayan was in a good mood and smiled. Of course, you're my little brother. How could I make you worry? So, you need to get well. When you're better, you need to focus on acting and bring glory to GK film and television. Okay? Min lovingly patted Ai Yang's head. When Jixin wasn't home, she treated Ai Yang like her own little brother and felt very close to him. And Ai Yang nodded. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Also, Min, don't worry about what other people say. Just be yourself. Okay. Min nodded and left the VIP room. When it was time to get off work, Qin Chu still hadn't called. She took out her phone several times and wanted to call him, but she didn't have the courage. She was afraid that Qin Chu wouldn't pick up or would just hang up. GK Corporation. After Min's negative news broke out, Assistant Yang couldn't stay calm anymore. He saw with his own eyes that his boss's face was as cold as ice. Sir, it's time to get off work. Assistant Yang looked at his watch and carefully reminded him. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He sat in front of his desk with a gloomy expression. Chapter 9-10. You guys can leave now. Qin Chu's voice was cold. It was the first time Yang had seen his boss in such a low mood. He didn't yell at them. He didn't give them orders, and he didn't vent his anger on them. He just sat there quietly, making Yang's heart ache. As soon as a young lady's negative news was exposed, the PR department came over to ask if they should deal with it. But the president didn't answer. She wanted to help Suyu, so why did GK have to deal with it for her? I would not be upset. Plus, at a time like this, any PR statement would be a joke. T-City. Jiang Linyue was in a great mood when she saw the news. God has eyes. Min, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Jiang Linyue was basically exiled from T-City. She didn't even attend the 30-year anniversary. She hated Min to the extreme, so she wanted something to happen to her as soon as possible. She didn't think that she would be slandered so quickly. Or rather, she set a trap for herself. It was karma. Jiang Linyue guessed that President Qin must be in a bad mood right now. So, she picked up the company's landline and dialed the president's office. His secretary and assistant had already gotten off work, but Qin Chu was still at the company, so he picked up the phone. Hello. Jiang Linyue was ecstatic when she heard Qin Chu's voice. President Qin, I'm Jiang Linyue. What's up? Qin Chu asked coldly. President Qin, here's the thing. I'm working overtime at the company, and I ran into a problem that I didn't know how to deal with. I thought you might still be at work, so I called you. Please forgive me if I offended you. Jiang Linyue had always pretended to be a lady in front of Qin Chu, trying to gain his favor. However, she never knew that Qin Chu liked Min, not because Min was a lady. In other words, Min wasn't a lady at all. He just liked her, no matter what she was like, even if she had flaws. Speak. Qin Chu was frustrated. He didn't want to deal with Jiang Linyue, but he didn't want to mix business with personal life. It's like this. Wasn't there a change of people here? A group of employees also left with their former boss. According to the company's usual practice, if they suddenly quit without waiting for us to find a replacement, they won't be paid. But these people are unreasonable and come to the company every day to make trouble. I don't know if I should call the police or what to do. After all, I've never been in charge of something like this before. Settle the bill for them, Chin Chu said faintly. But they're all traitors, the kind that suddenly left the company. They're still employees of the company after all. They should be paid for their work. Okay, President Chin, I'll listen to you. That's all then. Chin Chu was just about to hang up when Jiang Linyue suddenly said, President Chin, wait. What's the matter? Chin Chu was obviously impatient. President Chin, if it's possible, I'd like to return to the corporation. I think the design department is more suitable for me. I don't want to be a boss. I just want to quietly work under you as an employee. Jiang Linyue said pitifully, we'll talk about it later. After speaking, Chin Chu hung up. He really didn't care about Jiang Linyue because his mind was filled with Huamin. He wanted to go home. He wanted to see her, but he was angry because of her stubbornness. He was very disappointed, but she still did it. She even shamelessly said that she wasn't in the wrong. Chin Chu picked up his phone and looked at it over and over again, but there was no response. After Huamin got off work, she didn't go back to Imperial Park or South Hill Manor. Instead, she went straight to Sky Blessing Court. After Jixin left, she spent more time with her mother. Mom, I'm so hungry. Do you have food? Huamin asked as soon as she walked in. Yes, but it's probably cold now. I'll heat it up. Thanks, Mom. Because her mother didn't know the internet and didn't read the newspaper, she didn't know what was going on outside. Huamin thought that home was the quietest place in the world. Just then, her phone rang. She thought it was Chin Chu and immediately picked it up. Hello, little sister Mian. Do you want to come out for a drink? My treat. It was Hua Xiqian's voice. Chapter 9:11. If it was any other day, Huamin would definitely say no. But today, she had been suppressing her emotions all day and wanted a drink. Therefore, she said, if I go out to drink with you at this time and someone takes a picture of me, wouldn't that make things worse? You're not even afraid of the rumors about you and sue you? Why would you be afraid of me? Hua Xiqian sneered. When Huamin heard this, she actually thought that he made a lot of sense. Tell me, where do you want to meet? 4 Square Street Old Town Bar. I'll wait for you. After speaking, Hua Xiqian hung up the phone. Huamin got up and put on her jacket. You're going out? Yang Meiron walked out and asked curiously. Mom, I'm sorry, but I can't eat anymore. Please, I'm going out for a bit, but I'll be back tonight. Remember to leave the door open for me. After speaking, Huamin walked out the door and hailed a taxi to meet up with her. 20 minutes later, 4 Square Street, Old Town Bar. It was a dimly lit bar with very few people. Huamin walked in wearing a black cashmere coat, black heels, white gloves, and a scarf. She was dressed like a Korean drama. Hua Xiqian was wearing a coffee-colored leather jacket and slim-fit trousers. He was still as handsome as ever. The truth was he had always been quite good-looking, but his aura was too dark. Therefore, Huamin and Chin Chu didn't really like him. I thought you wouldn't come. Hua Xiqian smiled as she held a cocktail in her hand. Huamin didn't say anything. She sat in front of the bar stool, looked at the bartender, and said in a dull voice, a dozen Budweisers. You don't drink cocktails? No, the alcohol content is too low. Huamin was quite the tomboy. Ha, I like how you act cool. Hua Xiqian laughed. Huamin picked up a bottle of Budweiser and downed it in one gulp. Hua Xiqian narrowed his eyes and looked at Huamin in the dim light. He found that she was still as beautiful as she had been 7 years ago. She was just as stubborn and stubborn. Huamin's personality would cause people to have 2 extremes in their lives. He would either love them the most or hate them the most. There would never be anything in between. Su Yu and Chin Chu, Jiang Xiaowei, and Zhu Lingling, they all loved Huamin very much, whether it was as a friend or a lover. Jiang Linyue, He-Man, Zhao Qingya, and Song Yisher all hated Huamin, whether they were rivals in love or enemies. Hua Xiqian was the only one who had a love-hate relationship with her. He loved her because no matter how many years had passed, her heart remained unchanged. It was as if she was still that stubborn and pretentious little girl from many years ago. He hated her because her gaze never lingered on him for long, even if he missed her so much and cared about her. He once said that Huamin only had eyes for Qin Chu. It was as if all the men in the world were dead. He couldn't accept this kind of contempt. It was also a torturous process for any man who loved Huamin. If you knew this would happen, why did you still do it? With your brain, you shouldn't have let yourself get stuck in this mess. Hua Xiqian's words were like pearls of wisdom. He put away his usual playful face and spoke in a serious tone. Huamin picked up the second bottle of Budweiser and drank half of it in one gulp. Then, she shook the other half. She slowly said, "Because I'm Huamin." Hua Xiqian's gaze became deep. A strange light seemed to dance in his eyes. She was right. She was the only one who didn't play by the rules. That was why there was such a unique Huamin in the world. I thought you wouldn't go against Qin Chu. It's one thing for me to love him, but it's another for me to be a person. There's no conflict. I don't think I disobeyed Qin Chu. I just think it's my way of being a person. That's all, Huamian said slowly. Since you did it, why do you look so depressed? If I'm not mistaken, you guys fought? Hua Xiqian probed after hearing this. Huamin's gaze became slightly lonely. We didn't fight. It would be great if we did, Huamin slowly said. Then you're in a cold war, right? Hua Xiqian continued to ask. Sometimes, fighting was also a way of communicating. Fighting wasn't scary, but fighting without fighting was scary. A cold war was the scariest way to communicate. Chapter 9:12. Huamin didn't answer, but silence meant silence. Mian, have you ever thought that you and Qin Chu might not be suitable for each other? Hua Xiqian stared at Hua Min's handsome side profile and said slowly, I used to think about it, but I didn't think about it after we got married. We've decided to be husband and wife for the rest of our lives. But you have to know that some paths have to be flexible. You can't just walk down the same path until the end. You know it's a dead end, but you still have to walk down it. In the end, you'll end up with nothing and bruises all over your body. Is that really a good thing? Huamin fell silent. She had been through a lot with Qin Chu, and the only thing that kept them together was their love for each other. If love was gone one day, then what was the point of her and Qin Chu? Was it better to forget each other than to help each other in times of need? Many people didn't know each other at first, but they didn't forget each other in the end. Many stories started with I'll give you happiness, but ended with I wish you happiness. What about them? She was 24 years old, and Qin Chu was 27. They got married half a year ago. Although it wasn't out of Huamin's will, Huamin truly loved Qin Chu. She thought that being together was the best ending for them. However, Hua Xiqian's words made her feel lost. Were they really not suitable for each other? Would they be better off if they were separated? When Qin Chu drove back to Imperial Park, he didn't see Huamin, just as he expected. She didn't come back. Qin Chu called Uncle Li at South Hill Manor. Uncle Li said that she didn't go back there either. It seemed like she went back to Sky Blessing Court. According to the script, he was supposed to pick her up and coax her. In the end, they would reconcile. However, Qin Chu didn't do that this time. He was a little tired. He felt like Huamin didn't understand him. He had already analyzed the pros and cons so clearly. However, she still didn't care about his feelings and released this series of negative news. He could ignore the loss of GK's stock market, but money was just a worldly possession. But had she ever thought about how she would treat her husband? At this moment, Qin Chu's phone rang. He immediately picked it up and glanced at it. He was a little disappointed that it was not Huamin. Qin Chu, I'm Yisher. Song Yisher's voice was very gentle. Qin Chu's expression was very indifferent. Are you free now? I want to see you. Now. Qin Chu was a little surprised. Yes, I'm in the Imperial Park area. Why are you here? Qin Chu frowned slightly. I always felt that it wasn't very convenient to live with my parents. After all, our schedules are different, so I moved out and bought a house here. It's not very far from your house. Oh, after I saw the news today, I thought that you might be in a bad mood, so I wanted to see you. I'm not at Imperial Park, sorry. Qin Chu directly rejected Song Yisher. He was in a bad mood, but he didn't need another woman's safety. Oh, I see. Okay then, let's meet another day. Song Yishur hung up the phone and looked at the Maybach Park downstairs. She was a little disappointed. It seemed like Qin Shu had always been wary of her. Even though he was in a cold war with Huamin, he still didn't want to see her. On the other side, Huamin had already drunk about 10 bottles of beer at the bar. However, he didn't look like he was about to get drunk. Don't drink anymore, Hua Xiqian gently advised. What? Didn't you want to treat me? Are you afraid that I'll make you poor? Huamin half joked. No, I'm afraid that your stomach is acting up. Huamin fell silent again. After a while, she suddenly asked, Hua Xiqian, do you like me? Hua Xiqian's body trembled slightly when he heard this. He never thought that Huamin would ask him such a direct question. If I said yes, would you believe me? After a while, he reacted and smiled at her. Chapter 9:13. Huamin placed the empty bottle on the bar with a bang. Then, he looked at Hua Xiqian and smiled. Of course not. Why not? He tilted his head and looked at Huamin curiously. His eyes were filled with love and adoration. Because you're born with a mask on your face. Someone like you only loves yourself. Why would you like someone else? Haha. If I'm not wrong, you don't like Imo Shui at all, but she likes you a lot. That's why she keeps testing you, trying to find out who you like. She suspected me before, right? You're smart, Hua Xiqian said softly. But maybe she doesn't know that people like you are just putting on a show with everyone. You just want the whole corporation. Don't worry, I don't want the inheritance, and you don't have to rack your brains to come up with ways to deal with me. You also don't have to use the excuse of liking me to mislead me. Because I'm not a threat to you. We've always wanted different things from each other. Oh, you know what I want? Hua Xiqian raised his eyebrows. You want the Hua Corporation, unparalleled power, and endless money. Once you topple the old man, you'll be the number one of the whole corporation. Huh? Hua Xiqian smiled, but didn't say anything. But I want a peaceful life. That's why we have different goals. But because we're both smart people, we're wary of each other, so that's what you think of me. Am I wrong? Huamin looked at him. No, your analysis is correct. Hua Xiqian licked his lips and finished the cocktail in his hand. When Huamin and Hua Xiqian walked out of the bar, she had already drunk 13 bottles of Budweiser. However, she wasn't drunk at all. You're a good drinker. Thanks for the drink, spy. After saying goodbye to Hua Xiqian, Huamin hailed a taxi. Where are we going? Imperial Park, she blurted out. Then, she realized that she had given her home address, not her mother's house. The taxi went straight to Imperial Park. Huamin thought that since he was already here, he might as well go upstairs. Anyway, Qin Shu was probably asleep at this time. At worst, he could just sleep in the guest room. However, she did not expect to see Song Yishur walking in with a lunchbox just as she arrived downstairs. Thus, she stopped in her tracks. She looked at her phone. It was already 12:30 a.m. What was Song Yishur doing here? And he was even carrying supper? Did Qin Shu ask her out? Or she didn't dare to think. However, she was no longer in the mood to go upstairs. She just stood there like a fool downstairs, quietly standing there like a statue. Qin Shu was curious when he heard the doorbell. She only opened the door when she saw that it was Song Yishur. I saw your car downstairs, so I came up. You just came back, right? In order not to make Qin Shu feel awkward, Song Yishur asked on purpose, because it had been more than 2 hours since she called him. Oh, Qin Shu answered faintly, but he had no intention of inviting Song Yishur in. I couldn't sleep last night and was a little hungry, so I went out to buy some food. I bought a lot, so I gave you a portion. I'm not hungry, Qin Shu said faintly. Eat, it's really delicious hot and sour noodles. I remember when we were young, we loved it. Every time your nanny made it, we would fight over it. I even cried because of the spiciness. Song Yishur reached out her hand, but Qin Shu had no choice but to take it. Thank you. Is Huamin home? I brought her roasted corn. I heard that she likes it the most. Song Yishur pretended to ask. Before Qin Shu could say anything, a voice behind him said, Thank you. I really like corn. Then, Huamin walked out from behind him. He took Song Yishur's corn and ate it as he walked. Qin Shu, Song Yishur, both of them were dumbfounded They thought it was an illusion. Huamin shouldn't be home at this time because Song Yisher didn't see her car. Did you drink? Qin Shu frowned slightly when he smelled the strong smell of alcohol on her body. Chapter 9:14. Huamin didn't answer. She turned around and looked at Song Yisher. It's so late. Why did Miss Song come to my house? Oh, I couldn't sleep, so I went out to buy some food. I happened to pass by, so I brought some for you guys. I remember that you don't live here, right? Why did you come all the way here to bring us supper? Huamin looked at her. I just moved here. It's not convenient to live with my parents at home. When I'm busy, my schedule isn't normal. I didn't want to disturb them, so I moved out. I asked a friend to find me a place to live, and I didn't expect it to be Imperial Park. What a coincidence. Huamin raised his eyebrows. His gaze clearly said, Who are you trying to fool? Song Yisher smiled awkwardly. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so coincidental either. Huamin, you're not thinking too much, are you? Of course not. Thank you for the corn, it was delicious. Huamin raised the corn with a provocative look in her eyes. Seeing that Huamin was back, Song Yisher's plan to spend some time alone with Qin Shu fell through. Therefore, she could only bite the bullet and say goodbye. Since I brought the food, I won't disturb you guys any longer. Rest early. Honey, hurry up and send Miss Song off. She worked so hard to bring us corn. We can't let her come all the way here for nothing. Huamin's words clearly had a deeper meaning. Qin Shu's face darkened. He didn't care about Song Yisher's corn at all. Instead, he was focused on Huamin drinking again. How could he be so forgetful? Why are you like this? I just want you to send Miss Song off. Even if you don't want to, you can't show it on your face. If you do, Miss Song will feel really awkward. Huamin looked at Qin Shu and smiled. Qin Shu still didn't say anything. Song Yisher, on the other hand, felt even more embarrassed after hearing what Huamin said. She immediately waved her hand. No, I'm pretty close. I can go downstairs myself. You guys rest early. Good night. After saying good night, Song Yisher ran out of the house. She realized that if she stayed any longer, what would Huamin say? After Song Yisher left, Qin Shu asked faintly, was it fun? What? I choked Song Yisher. Is your heart aching? Huamin obviously did it on purpose. Upon hearing this, Qin Shu's expression turned even uglier. You know what I'm talking about. Estes, I'm Titino. All right, hurry up and eat your dinner while it's still hot. Don't waste Beauty Song's good intentions. Then, Huamin yawned and headed upstairs. She drank more than 10 bottles that night. She wasn't drunk, but she was very sleepy. Huamin thought that since she was back, she might as well get some sleep. However, before she could take a few steps, Qin Shu dragged her back. Then he blocked her at the top of the stairs. He looked down at her condescendingly. Huamin, what do you want? Funny. President Qin, you're asking a weird question. What do I want? What else could I want? If I didn't come back in time, I really want to know what you and Song Yisher would have done. Huamin sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain. Actually, she didn't think that way. She trusted Qin Shu, but her mouth wouldn't let him off the hook. Qin Shu was already very angry because she testified for Suyu, so he ignored her for an entire night. He didn't call her, didn't send her a WeChat message, and didn't even pick her up from her parents' home. This was the first time she felt bad. It was like an adult giving a child a lollipop every day, but one day they suddenly stopped giving it to her. How could she feel good? Yeah, you came back at the wrong time. I didn't expect you to come back at all. Qin Shu was also very angry, so he spoke in a fit of pique. Qin Shu, good job. Huamian smiled, but her smile was bleak. Qin Shu looked at her, both loving and hating her, but he didn't know what to do with her. What about you? Didn't you do a good job too? You disregarded your own reputation, my reputation, and GK's reputation to help someone who doesn't even need your help. Huamin, what are you thinking? Huamin looked at him with a complicated expression and said, I shouldn't have come back tonight. Okay, I'm leaving. She felt like the two of them were too angry to communicate. She turned around and walked out. Chapter 9:15. Qin Shu picked her up from behind and threw her onto the sofa. He didn't use too much force, but he didn't use too much force either. She could tell that he was angry. Huamin, we didn't even talk clearly. Are you going to leave just like that? Talk about what? What else is there to talk about? Huamin sneered. I remember telling you my opinion. Why did you do it even though you knew it wasn't okay? Qin Shu didn't hold a grudge against Suyu, even though Suyu sang for Huamin at GK's 30-year anniversary party. He had never been so jealous, but this time, he really couldn't take it anymore. He didn't care what other people said, nor did he care about the pressure of public opinion. All he cared about was Huamin's heart. He was afraid. He was afraid that Suyu was a different existence to Huamin. That's funny. I'm an independent person, not your accessory. I discussed it with you because I respect you, but I don't have to accept your opinion. I've weighed this matter for a long time. I'm not a child, I know the pros and cons. But Qin Shu, I have my own principles as well. Everyone has their own standards. I think that if I don't stand up and testify, I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life. Why don't you say that you care about Suyu? Qin Shu was furious. What did you say? Huamin stared at Qin Shu in disbelief. Qin Shu also realized that he was too impulsive. He didn't have the courage to say it again. Huamin got up from the sofa and pushed Qin Shu away, as if he wanted to leave. However, he couldn't break free. Let go of me, I won't. I'm going out. Where are you going? I'm going to find Suyu right now. Didn't you say that I care about him? Huamin spoke without thinking. This was probably the most serious argument they had ever had. Both of them had said things that did not match their hearts. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Qin Shu became even angrier. He pressed Huamin firmly onto the sofa. Then he lowered his head and bit her slightly red lips. Huamin struggled with all his might, but he couldn't push Qin Shu away. His tall body pressed down on her, making it impossible for her to breathe. His kiss was overwhelming and punishing. When he bit the corner of her lips, she felt a slight tearing pain. She was furious, but there was nothing she could do. Therefore, she hugged Qin Shu's neck and bit him back. Her strength was 10 times stronger than his. This bite instantly caused Qin Shu's lips to bleed. Their mouths were filled with a thick taste of blood. However, as stubborn as Qin Shu was, he still didn't let go of Huamin despite the intense pain. Instead, it was an even more domineering, lingering feeling. In the end, both of them were exhausted, and he finally let go. He was pushed away by Huamin, who panted heavily. Huamin lay on the sofa, exhausted. There were still traces of Qin Shu's blood in her mouth. She coughed lightly and forced herself up from the sofa. Mian. The truth was, he wanted to say sorry. She paused for a moment, opened the door, and left without a word. She didn't give him a chance to say sorry. Qin Shu was filled with regret. He opened the curtains and watched as Huamin left the neighborhood. His heart ached again. Huamin left Imperial Park and hailed a taxi. Sky Blessing Court, she said coldly after getting into the car. Then, she sat in the back seat without a word. The driver couldn't help but look at the rearview mirror. The more he looked, the more scared he became. Miss, I'm going home for dinner. Why don't you get out of the car in front and hail another one? Huamin looked up. There were still traces of blood on the corner of her mouth. It was indeed scary at night. I'm not a vampire. Huamin cursed Qin Shu in her mind. Then, she yelled at the driver. The driver was speechless. The driver trembled in fear. He didn't dare to say anything else and just kept driving. When she arrived at Sky Blessing Court, it was already 1:00 in the morning. Luckily, her mother left the door open. Huamin quietly went upstairs, took a shower, and got into bed. She didn't know when her phone ran out of battery. She charged it and lay down. Qin Shu dialed the familiar number on his cell phone. Sorry, the subscriber you have dialed is unavailable. His heart sank when he heard that Huamin had turned off her phone. Chapter 916. The next morning, when Qin Shu walked out of his morning meeting, Assistant Yang considerately handed him a Band-Aid. Sir, the corner of your mouth is... Haha, it's injured. Here, stick it on. No need. Qin Shu coldly refused. Did the young lady bite you? Assistant Yang was a very curious child. This was the first time he saw his boss' mouth was injured, so he was quite curious. He really wanted to know if it was a young lady's doing. After all, a young lady usually looked very gentle. She wouldn't do something so wild, right? Chin Chu faintly glanced at Assistant Yang and asked, "Could it be a poodle?" Sir, you like dogs?" Assistant Yang was stunned. "You'll lose your bonus this month, next month, next month." Chin Chu pointed at Assistant Yang. His heart was really tired. He actually used such a silly assistant for more than half a year. Assistant Yang was once again dumbfounded. Wasn't he just suspecting that his boss was bitten by a dog? Was this necessary? 3 months of bonus. Oh, he really wanted to find a place to cry for a while. After he walked out of the office, he immediately reported to everyone, "The boss is in a bad mood today. Every department needs to be careful. If you say or do something wrong and get your bonus deducted, don't blame me for not warning you." Then, Assistant Yang walked to a corner and took out his phone again. This time, he used his trump card. In the past, whenever he was scolded by his boss, he only needed to call a young lady and it was guaranteed to work. After all, his boss had a wife complex. So, Assistant Yang dialed Hua Min's number. Hua Min was doing his rounds. When he saw that it was Assistant Yang, he hesitated for a moment before picking up. "A young lady, it's Assistant Yang. What's up?" Hua Min thought that Chin Chu wanted him to pass on a message, so he was quite excited. There's something I need a young lady's help with." "What is it?" I accidentally said something wrong, and the boss deducted 3 months of bonus. A young lady, please put in a good word for me." "I'm sorry, I can't help you. Your boss has been in a bad mood recently." "My words are useless." "No way. The boss always listens to a young lady. Times are different. If you don't believe me, you can mention my name, and I guarantee that he'll deduct 3 months of bonus." Then, Hua Min quickly hung up the phone. Assistant Yang was dumbfounded. What kind of trick were these two playing? Didn't they say SM's taste last night? Why did they change? Normal people like him couldn't understand the world tycoons. At noontime, Jiang Xiaosu's. In time night, it's why Jiang Xiaosu also did a prenatal checkup, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. "Hey, you being a witness is making a big deal out of this." Jiang Xiaosu glanced at Hua Min. "I know." Hua Min seemed very calm. "Does Chin Chu know you're doing this?" "Yeah." "How's he doing right now?" "He's going crazy." Hua Min thought back to Chin Chu's condition and concluded, If it were me, I'd go crazy too. I'd definitely be jealous. It doesn't matter who that person is, as long as it's not Su Yu. You just had to testify for Su Yu and put yourself at the center of the storm. If I don't testify because I'm scared, then I'm not Hua Min. I'll just be Hua Min the turtle." Hua Min felt like he couldn't be a Mary Sue, but he still had to have a bottom line. She just stood up to clarify the truth. This was a very normal thing to do. She wasn't trying to save the world, so was it necessary? Hearing Hua Min's words, Jiang Xiaosu almost spat out the water in her mouth. "Don't tease me. I didn't realize you had such a funny side. I'm just stating the truth, okay?" Hua Min said as he picked up some food. "Oh, right. I almost forgot about something important." After speaking, Jiang Xiaosu turned sideways, took out a long call log from her bag, and handed it to Hua Min. "Here, my friend pulled up the call log from your old phone. Take a look." Chapter 9:17. When Hua Min heard this, she couldn't wait any longer. She immediately took the phone and looked through it from top to bottom. Then, she saw an unfamiliar number. It was a string of strange numbers that appeared 3 times. The frequency wasn't high, but it was very eye-catching. "You also want to ask about the number that starts with 920, right?" Jiang Xiaowei seemed to have guessed what Hua Min wanted to ask. "Yeah, it's a strange number. Can you find out where it came from?" Hua Min raised her head and looked at Jiang Xiaowei. Hua Min noticed that the last time this number appeared was on the day of Uncle Jing's death. It was 2 in the morning. It was a strange time and a strange number. It looked like a space number that scammers often used. Well, I also felt that it was quite strange at the time, so I asked my hacker friend to check it out. It was very strange. It was indeed a group of space numbers, but following the clues, it was quite surprising. The IP was overseas. Overseas? Hua Min was a little surprised. Jiang Xiaowei nodded. The location is Amsterdam, the Netherlands. But I can't find out the exact location because it's too far away. I can only find out that the person who used this number is in the Netherlands. Huamin carefully tried to recall. She couldn't remember when Uncle Jing knew someone from the Netherlands. This was too unexpected. It was beyond her imagination. Then, she continued to look at the call log. Everything was normal. There were calls from her, and there were calls from her mother. There were also calls from some of Uncle Jing's friends when he was alive. However, the number that appeared 3 times was very strange. Can I get through to this number? I want to call and ask. Logically speaking, you shouldn't be able to get through because this number is similar to a scammer's number. You can only call, not intercept. The caller probably doesn't want to be found, but you can try because I haven't called before. Homie nodded. She took out her phone and dialed the long string of numbers, but she realized that she really couldn't get through. There was only a beeping sound from the other end. This number shouldn't be scammers, right? Scammers can't appear 3 times at once. Jiang Xiaowei analyzed. It's definitely not a scammer because there are call times here. Look, the last call was actually 4 minutes long. Huamin was a careful person. When he saw the time after the call, he was even more certain of the strangeness of this phone number. She was sure that Uncle Jing couldn't speak English, not even a single word. Yet, he was able to converse with people from the Netherlands. Could it be that the person on the other side was also from China? The more Huamin thought about it, the more confused he became. Also, she realized that her background was like a huge mystery. As she continued to investigate, she realized that there were more and more questions. It was not as simple as she thought. No wonder a powerful person like Rick couldn't do it, and Qin Chu couldn't do it. Even she herself felt that this matter was not ordinary. But even so, she wanted to find her family even more. She didn't know if her parents would know that she still existed in this world. Huamin argued with Qin Chu, so he didn't want to go home. However, he didn't want his mother to worry either, so he didn't go back to Sky Blessing Court. Instead, he arranged for himself to work a few night shifts at the hospital. During the day, he would rest on the bed in the hypnosis room. He already treated the hospital as his home. That night, Qin Yuman made a rare visit to the corporation. After inspecting the place, he got into Qin Chu's car and drove back to the Qin Manor. Chu, Dad has something to ask you. Go ahead, Qin Chu said as he drove. Originally, I didn't want to get involved in matters between you and Huamin. I didn't want to interfere with everything like your mom did. But this time, the media made such a big deal out of it. I don't understand how Huamin got involved with Suyu. He even stood out to testify for him. Right now, the public is saying terrible things. Have you guys discussed this? Qin Yuman asked in a serious tone. Qin Chu's expression changed. He knew that his father was going to ask about this. After all, everyone already knew about it. Chapter 9:18. Yes, she told me. Qin Chu nodded. So you agreed with her? Qin Yuman looked at his son with a gloomy expression. I told her to do it. Qin Chu thought for a moment and explained. What? You told her to do it? Qin Yuman was a little surprised. He always thought that his daughter-in-law was too arrogant and didn't care about other people's feelings. But now that he heard his son say that it was his idea, he was quite surprised. Although Qin Chu was angry with Huamin, he would never slander her in front of other people. Instead, he would protect her, especially in front of his father. He would take all the responsibility on his own shoulders. As for what he did for Huamin, he didn't need Huamin to know about it. All he needed to do was take the blame. Yeah, I told her to do it because I didn't want to sue you a favor. Actually, Suyu could have said it himself, but he didn't because he cared about our reputation. I think he's quite a loyal person, so I asked Huamin to testify for him. But do you know what people are saying? I don't care what people say. We live our lives for ourselves. As long as we're happy, we don't care about other people's opinions anymore. Dad, we're not in your era anymore. We can only be ourselves. I know you care about us, but please believe in Huamin. Even if you don't believe in Huamin, please believe in your son. My judgment can't be wrong. Okay, since you said that, I won't ask anymore. Anyways, try to keep a low profile when you do things. Okay, Qin Chu nodded. He was grateful that his father didn't nag. He was as annoying as his mother. Evening. The Qin manor was unusually lively. Mayor Song and his wife brought along Song Yishu. Qin Yuman, his wife, and Qin Shu had dinner together. Actually, Qin Shu didn't know that they were coming. He just happened to bump into them. Lady Qin instructed the maid to pack a lot of dumplings and 8 dishes. It was very sumptuous. Song Yishu posted a picture of dumplings, and Qin Shu, who was sitting across from her. Huamin was on the night shift and wasn't in the mood for dinner. Sister Ingzi went to buy dinner for Ni Yang and Huamin. A young lady, I bought some vegetable porridge and pickled vegetables. Don't eat too much. Thank you. Huamin looked at Sister Ingzi gratefully. After Sister Ingzi left, she put her dinner aside and continued working. She was not in the mood to eat. At this moment, her phone rang. She immediately picked it up to check. She thought it was Qin Shu, but it was Hua Xiqian. He didn't say anything. There was only a screenshot of Song Yishu's WeChat post. It said, "Very warm dinner. Thank you, Mr. Qin, Mama Qin, and you." There were 3 pictures below. The first one was a plate of white dumplings, and the second one was a selfie. Song Yishu's selfie was very beggar-like. She didn't act cute, scissors, or pretend to be innocent. She just rested her chin on her hand and only showed the side of her face. She looked like a bourgeois. Needless to say, it was definitely Qin Shu. In the third picture, Qin Shu was talking to Mayor Song. Even the side of his face was handsome enough, especially when he was discussing something seriously. Huamin was furious when he saw the picture. Mr. Qin wanted to talk to that little bitch just because he didn't like her. "Little sister Mian, are you sad?" Hua Xiqian sent 3 words. "Why would I be sad?" Song Yishu posting something like this on WeChat at a time like this can easily make people think, Hua Xiqian said. "Then if I go eat with Suyu now, will it be a tie?" Huamin asked back, "You're going to eat with Suyu?" Hua Xiqian was a little shocked. "I won't do something so low," Huamin replied. "But if you don't do something, you might lose your status because I realize that Song Yishu is quite powerful. She's not as easy to deal with as those other girls," Hua Xiqian reminded him. "I'm not in the mood to fight with her. She can do whatever she wants. I'm tired." Huamin was a little lonely. She didn't think that Qin Shu would be so quiet the entire day. He didn't call or send her a WeChat message. He even went to eat dinner with Song Yishu. God forbid. "Do you need a lawyer? I can hire one for you." "Why would I need a lawyer?" Huamin replied in confusion. "A divorce," Hua Xiqian said in a serious tone. Huamian didn't know if he was serious or just joking. Seeing the word divorce, Huamin's heart sank. Chapter 919. To be honest, divorce was a word she had never thought about. Even when she argued with Qin Shu before, she didn't really want to divorce him. Marriage wasn't a game, and it wasn't something that could be married or divorced on a whim. Hua Xiqian's words made Huamin extremely uncomfortable, seeing that she didn't reply. Hua Xiqian added, "You took it seriously. I was just teasing you." Huamin decided not to reply, because she realized that whenever she and Qin Shu had a conflict, people would pick on her. They wanted her to divorce Qin Shu immediately. She remembered that her mother once said that words like divorce and breakup shouldn't be spoken carelessly, because once hurtful words were spoken, they would leave a mark. If she talked about breakup too much, one day they would really break up, and she had already laid the groundwork for the future. If she talked about divorce too much, one day they would really divorce, because she had already laid the groundwork. Huamin's EQ wasn't that high, but it definitely wasn't low either. Although she was angry, she wouldn't say things like that to hurt Qin Shu. The Hua family had basically sorted out the situation. After Hua Zhenghai beat Shun Jiani up, he put her under house arrest and forbade her from leaving the house. If he kicked her out now, wouldn't it be the same as asking her to go find an adulterer? Hua Si, on the other hand, was kicked out of the Hua family. In order not to expose the scandal, Hua Xiqian sent him back to the Philippines with a plane ticket. Hua Yinyan was still Hua Zhenghai's child, so she was allowed to stay in the Hua family. However, because of her mother and brother, Hua Yinyan had lost all of her popularity. She had almost fallen out of favor. She racked her brains to hook up with those rich men's sons, only hoping to find a powerful one to marry her. Then, she could save her mother from disaster. Jiang Hong and Hua Xiqian, on the other hand, were the biggest winners, but he wanted more than that. At the Hua family mansion, Hua Zhenghai hadn't returned for 3 nights, and it seemed like he was keeping another young model outside. It was wishful thinking for him to have a son at his age. Jiang Hong was already very calm about this kind of thing. She was drinking tea with Hua Xiqian on the sofa in the living room. Hua Xiqian respectfully poured a cup of tea for his adoptive mother and carefully handed it to her. "Mom, you haven't been out much lately. It's boring to stay at home all the time. It's good to go out and relax. If you want to go abroad, I'll book tickets for you. Don't worry. It's pretty good home now. It's quiet." Jiang Hong smiled slightly. Shinjiani's defeat made her very happy. The thorn in her side for more than 20 years was finally removed. Her mood was much better all of a sudden. Damn old man. This shameless old man is fooling around outside again. Find someone to keep an eye on him. Don't let him have another son. It was not easy to move in with Shinjiani. I don't want to have a second one. Jiang Hong warned. Don't worry, Mom. I won't. You can play with him as much as you want, but don't even think about having children. How are things with the board of directors? Almost all of them are our people now. We can kick them out at any time. It's just that too many things have happened recently. I can't be too obvious about it. I'll find a suitable opportunity. MHM, I trust you. Mom, you still have feeling for the old man after all these years, right? If you do, I won't be so ruthless. I'll keep him by your side. He'll be a companion. No need, my heart has been riddled with holes over the years. Ever since Shun Jiani married into our family, I've been gritting my teeth. One day, I'll see him begging for mercy and kick him away. Jiang Hong hated Hua Zhenghai to the core. Although she didn't have feelings for Hua Zhenghai in the beginning, she was a woman who cared a lot about her reputation. Shun Jiani married into the family openly and even gave birth to a son and a daughter. This made her a laughingstock in the socialite circle for years. She had suppressed this hatred in her heart for a long time, so she couldn't go easy on Hua Zhenghai. If you say so, then I know what to do. Hua Xiqian smiled. Xiqian, go ahead, Mom. Hua Xiqian was smart enough to act according to the situation. As soon as he heard Jiang Hong's tone, he knew that she had something else to say. As expected, Jiang Hong put down the teacup in her hand and said meaningfully, "You're over 30. It's time to start a family." Chapter 9:20. Mom, I'm not in a hurry. You have to be. It's not about whether you're in a hurry or not. I just think that if you can find a woman of equal social status, it might be better for us. Hua Xiqian licked his lips, smiled, and didn't say anything. Forget about the thing between you and that actress. She's just an actress. Just play around, don't take it to heart. I know, Mom. Hua Xiqian was very obedient and nodded in response to Jiang Hong's words. As a member of a family like ours, you shouldn't think about love. That's illusory. It's not suitable for us. Also, I think that a marriage with benefits will last longer. A marriage formed by love is actually very fragile. Once the love is gone, the marriage can't be maintained. Do you understand what I mean? I understand. Hua Xiqian poured another cup of tea for his mother and carefully pushed it towards her. What do you plan to do with Huamin? Jiang Hong asked softly as she took the teacup. I'll still kick her out. These 4 words made Jiang Hong's frown slowly fade away. She seemed to be very satisfied with Hua Xiqian's answer. That kid is smart, and I like her, but she's too arrogant to be of use to us. There's no point in keeping her. Huamin has always dreamed of using her to get close to Qin Chu. Hua Zhenghai doesn't even know how smart Huamin is. I won't take that risk, I'll just kick her out. Xiqian, you have to remember, the Hua family belongs to me and my son. I know. Hua Xiqian nodded. Jiang Hong was an extremely calm and even cold woman. She was born without love. She was born into the wealthy Jiang family and had been scheming against her brothers and sisters since she was young. She had no family, no love, and no friendship. All of her interpersonal relationships were calculated. In order to adopt Hua Xiqian from her sister, she gave her sister more than 30 million yuan to invest in a factory. Now, she raised a scheming son, but Hua Xiqian was much scarier than she imagined. After Su Yu was cleared of all charges, he kept a low profile and rarely appeared in public. Occasionally, he would go to Imperial Star to deal with business, but most of the time, he would stay in the Su family's villa. Because someone had died in the private villa, it was rather unlucky, so it was directly sold at a low price. Su Yu's return home made the Su family especially happy. Mr. Su was busy with work and was rarely at home. Master Lord Su would occasionally take a break. He would drink with his grandson and play chess. He lived a very leisurely life. On this day, the old man was in a good mood and looked for Su Yu to play chess. The grandfather and grandson were sitting on the tatami mats in the study upstairs, playing Chinese chess. Next to it was incense, which had an ancient charm. What do you think of Grandpa Su's granddaughter? When the old man asked this question, the two guests had already been gone for more than 10 days. They only stayed for a few days. After all, they had matters to attend to, so it was inconvenient for them to stay for long. Grandpa, are you talking about that Su Jimin? Su Yu picked up a horse and placed it on the chessboard. Yes, she's pretty good. The little girl is quite lively, naive, and romantic. Surprisingly, Su Yu's evaluation of her was quite high. Then if she's your wife? Before Master Lord Su could finish, Su Yu interrupted him. Forget it. That girl is fine as a sister, but as a wife, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life. Why? Master Lord Su was confused. She's not my cup of tea. Then what do you want? Pork stewed with pickled cabbage. Su Yu replied flirtatiously. You brat, can't you have a pleasant chat with Grandpa? Master Lord Su was helpless. Ha! General, Grandpa, you lost. There's no solution to the checkmate. Ha ha ha. Su Yu clapped his hands and cheered, laughing uncontrollably. Grandpa's chess skills were superb, and he rarely won. Today, the old man's mind was no longer on chess, but on testing his grandson's thoughts. Brat, don't play dumb with me. Just tell me, when can I have a great-granddaughter or great-granddaughter? The old man was also anxious. He pushed the chessboard and started playing. Oh, are you threatening me now? Cut the crap and answer the question directly. Master Lord Su was unwilling to give up. Chapter 921. You'll definitely have a great-grandson and a great-granddaughter. Don't worry, it's only a matter of time. Bullshit. If I wait another 20 years, I'll be a pile of dirt by now. My bones will rot away. Master Lord Su was furious. Then tell me, what do you mean? Get married as soon as possible. Then I have to have someone to marry. Su Yu laughed dryly, wondering why his old man was so stubborn. I've already thought about it. If you really don't like Jimin, that actress from your company is fine too, but I've relaxed the rules. The one called Tong or something, Grandpa Su said as he leaned against the wall behind him and lit a cigarette. Her? No. Su Yu hurriedly waved his hand. Don't you like that girl? Ha! Grandpa, who told you that I like her? Su Yu asked with a smile. The media said it. I read in the newspapers all the time. Gosh, you even believe the media's words. The media's words, other than the year, month, and date, are all fake. Even a weather forecast is always lying to us commoners. Stop spouting nonsense. We're talking about your business now. Why are you talking about the weather forecast? Master Lord Su was anxious about Su Yu's accident. At the same time, he thought of something. She was in a hurry for Su Yu to start a family. Men were sometimes fickle because they were single. Once they had a family, a wife, and children, they would feel responsible. The old man decided to let his grandson get married and restrain his flamboyant personality. It would be good for the future. He didn't expect this kid to refuse to talk about the main topic. He kept talking about random things all the way to Los Angeles. Ahem. The main topic is easy, but you said no. When I find a wife, I have to find someone I like. Grandpa, a lifetime is only a few decades. Our family doesn't lack money or power, so I don't have to find a socialite to marry, right? Plus, I'm your only grandson. Can you bear to see me live a miserable life? Who wants you to get married? The problem now is for you to find someone quickly. Who do you like? Tell me. I don't have anything for the time being. When I find something I like, I'll tell you. It's getting late. You should rest early. After saying this, Suyu got off the tatami and ran away. This brat, seeing that his grandson was unwilling to speak, Master Lord Su asked for an entire night, but to no avail. He was truly out of options. When Suyu returned to his room, he saw his mother changing the bed sheets. "Mom, that's enough. It's such a waste to change it every day. I'm not a clean freak. I saw it when I was shopping today. The material is good, so I bought it for you. You can use it first. It's rare for you to come home." Lady Su was especially happy that her son had returned home. Every day, she told the kitchen to cook different dishes for Suyu. The daily necessities were changed every day, and the service was even better than that of a hotel. Suyu actually understood his mother's feelings very well. Every mother doted on their son. "Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something?" Lady Su asked. "I'm not hungry." "Then you should go to bed early." "Okay." Suyu turned around, took off his jacket, and prepared to take a shower. Lady Su suddenly thought of something and asked, "Son, Huomin's testimony was key to you coming out this time. But now she's at the center of the storm. You've been in the media industry for so long. Can you help her explain? I'm worried that she won't be able to handle such a big scandal." Lady Su knew that Huomin had helped her son, so she was grateful. Now that she saw the media crazily reporting about this matter, she felt bad. Suyu was fine. After all, he was a godlike tycoon with scandals. Ever since he started his company, scandals had never stopped. However, Huomin was different. She was a girl. Once she was at a disadvantage, she would drown in saliva. After hearing his mother's words, Suyu's expression became complicated. He originally wanted to protect Huomin, but now it was the other way around. Huomin helped him clear his name, but he was the one being slandered. Chapter 922. "Mom, I want to help, but I'm afraid it'll only make things worse," Suyu replied in all seriousness. As one of the male leads in the scandal, if he stepped out to clear Huomin's name, it would cause an even bigger backlash. Therefore, he had no choice but to remain silent and control the media that he could control to suppress the scandal. He even asked some paid posters to speak up for Huomin, but it didn't seem to be of any use. In the age of the internet, news spread faster and faster, and the more it spread, the more ridiculous it became. "Okay, I got it." Lady Su turned around and left. After taking a shower, Suyu lay in bed and turned on his phone. The screensaver was a classic photo of Huomin in a white lab coat. He stared at the photo for about 10 seconds before unlocking his phone and logging into Weibo. There were a lot of comments under his Weibo, but most of them were his fans. The top comment was a rather dramatic one. The person said, "I've never hated Lord Su before." There were more than 2,000 people who liked the post, and it was quite popular. Most of the comments were from female fans who kept calling him hubby, so he didn't care. However, there were also a few who scolded him. "Suyu, what's your relationship with Huomin? Why did she help you clear your name? Why did a young lady of GK come to Suyu's birthday? Is she a spy you sent to Chinshu? Bro, it's not good for you to seduce a married woman. It's a moral issue. A third party is still a third party. It's wrong to be a third party. You're a rich, godlike tycoon. You can have any woman you want. Why would you seduce someone else's wife?" Another comment was even more amusing. "Why do I feel like there's more to this than meets the eye? Suyu and Chinshu have a love-hate relationship. Huomin is the real cannon fodder." Suyu was speechless after reading this comment. He couldn't help but marvel at how talented the netizens were. He quietly clicked on Huomin's Weibo and found that she hadn't updated recently. However, the comments under the most recent Weibo post had exploded. There were about 50 to 60,000 comments. She clicked on them and saw that they were all scolding her. "Huomin, how can you be so shameless? You seduced Lord Su when you already have a husband. The women of the Hua family are all bitches. Huomin and Huoyanyan are all the same. Identification complete. I want to know the extent of the trauma in CEO Qin's heart after this incident was exposed. Huomin, is it really okay for you to be two-timing? Are you worthy of President Qin buying you a sports car and a mansion? You're a woman who doesn't know how lucky she is. She's courting death. Miss Hua, who's better at sex, President Su or President Qin? I'll bet 10 cents that Huamin and Qin Shu are about to get a divorce. If they don't, I'll livestream myself eating shit. Huamin's comment section was a mess, but most of them were scolding her. Women had always been the underdog in this society. Su Yu's heart ached, especially when Huamin didn't say anything. He didn't even refute or explain. He just silently endured everything. Previously, one of his male artists cheated on his wife. When she was pregnant, he slept with another female artist. After the result was exposed, their careers went downhill. In the end, the male artist listened to the advice of his public relations team. He cried bitterly and held a press conference, saying that he was sorry for his wife and that he would turn over a new leaf. The female mistress was scolded to the core and had no hope of making a comeback. She was shelved by Imperial Star and left the country for Australia. It took 2 hands to clap. Both of them weren't good people. However, the man had to kowtow and admit his mistakes, play the role of a good husband, and beg for forgiveness. On the other hand, the woman would be scolded to the point that her name would go down in history and she would never be able to make a comeback. Therefore, Su Yu was very afraid that Huamin would carry this stain on his record and he would never be able to erase it. If that was the case, he might as well go to court. The police wouldn't be able to detain him anyway. After hesitating for a long time, Su Yu sent a private message to Huamin. There were only 3 words. Are you asleep? He didn't know that Huamin wasn't going home anymore. He was sleeping at Southside and was in a bad situation. Huamin rarely logged into Weibo. She was bored on the night shift and was afraid that she would be sleepy, so she took out her phone to read the news. She accidentally logged into Weibo and saw Su Yu's private message. Not yet, she replied. I told you not to help me. Look at you now. You've been scolded to death. Do you know that? Su Yu wrote, feeling sorry for her. Chapter 923. I know. Huamin didn't like to waste time, so his reply was short and concise. Then are you stupid? Even if I dug out my IQ, I'd still be 2 pounds higher than you. Su Yu, you're still in the mood to joke at a time like this? Su is also depressed. The darkness will pass eventually. What's there to be afraid of? It's not like the sky is falling. Huamin was very optimistic. Then what about Qin Shu? Did he fight with you? Su Yu asked anxiously. The truth was, he was quite conflicted. Selfishly speaking, he quite liked the idea of Qin Shu and Huamin fighting. If that happened, then Qin Shu would lose Huamin in the future, and he would have a chance. However, from the overall situation, Huamin and Qin Shu had deep feelings for each other since the last time the 2 families fought. Ever since Huamin's quick-witted response to GK's crisis, Huamin was the woman who was willing to beg Hua Xiqian for Qin Shu. Therefore, if Qin Shu and Huamin fought, then Qin Shu, who was deeply in love with Huamin, would be very sad. Su Yu, on the other hand, didn't want Huamin to be sad, so he was conflicted after asking this question. I'm fine. Huamin's answer was vague. She wouldn't tell Su Yu about her relationship with Qin Shu. After all, it was a private matter between the 2 of them. If you can't handle it, then go abroad for a while. I'll slowly deal with this here in China, and you can come back when things calm down. It's okay, I can handle it. It's nothing, plus, there's nothing between us. Why should I run away? Okay, you're right. Su Yu was a little disappointed. There was indeed nothing between him and Huamin. It was just that someone had taken the opportunity to make a big fuss out of nothing. Because of their identities, they had been hyped up. After sending private messages for a while, Su Yu still couldn't fall asleep. He sent a message in the group. Who's not coming? Who wants to come out for a few drinks? Me. Tang Chuan replied immediately. Me too. Wei Liao also gave a rare reply. Fuck, you're floating in the water. Won't Dr. Jiang kill you? Everyone knew that Wei Liao doted on Jiang Xiaowei a lot, especially after she got pregnant. He treated her like a queen. Since then, Wei Liao rarely came out to drink, so when he finally showed up, Tang Chuan and Su Yu were quite surprised. My doctor took the initiative to ask me to come out. He said that he was afraid that I would have prenatal depression. Wei Liao smiled. Prenatal depression? Isn't that a disease of pregnant women? What does it have to do with you? Tang Chuan exclaimed. You don't understand this, do you? Nowadays, a lot of men accompany their husbands to give birth. In the end, after a long time, their wives are fine, but they get sick. My wife has a doctorate in psychology. Don't doubt her theory. Wei Liao looked at him with admiration. Never in his wildest dreams did he think that he would one day marry a top student. Okay. Whatever your wife says is right. Stop talking nonsense. We'll wait for you on the top floor of Seductive Fox. Then, the three of them drove to their appointments. Suyu drove a black Lamborghini. Tang Chuan's flirtatious pink Ferrari and Wei Liao's low-key Land Rover both stopped at the entrance of Seductive Fox. In the private room on the top floor, Tang Chuan didn't bring a female companion, which was rare. There were only the three of them in the huge private room. Suyu ordered some drinks and snacks. Then, the three of them sat across from each other and chatted. I thought about some things today, but I don't really understand them. You two can help me sort them out. Suyu held an empty glass and spun it around on the coffee table. Sure. Tang Chuan nodded. Tell me about it. Wei Liao guessed that Suyu had something to say. It was so late at night. Instead of sleeping, he came out to drink. Zhao Xia died in my private villa. The time of her death happened to be when I wasn't on the surveillance camera. That's when I met Huamin. So, I'm more suspicious than anyone else. Normal people would think that Zhao Xia used her death to frame me and avenge her sister. Isn't that the case? Tang Chuan was stunned. On the surface, it seems so, but after thinking about it carefully, I feel that something is wrong. Wei Liao took out a Chunghua and held it in his mouth as he looked at Suyu and asked, What's wrong? Chapter 924. First of all, how did Zhao Xian know when I left the banquet? She should have been in my bedroom by then. She's an accomplice. Otherwise, how could someone of Zhao Xia's status sneak in without an invitation? Tang Chuan analyzed. That's right. She's definitely an accomplice. What I want to tell you now is their goal. Goal? Isn't their goal to slander you? Guess. Even an idiot would know that. Tang Chuan looked at Suyu in confusion. No, I don't think it's that simple. Do you see any other flaws? Wei Liao asked. I think that if they wanted to slander me, they would have found a way to lure me into the mansion. Wouldn't that be more evidence? They wouldn't have let me go out to meet Huamin. Huamin would be the only witness, and she would definitely testify for me. So you're saying? Wei Liao seemed to understand what Suyu meant. Yeah, I have a bold guess. I think that Zhao Xia might have been used. On the surface, her death was to slander me, but in reality, that person's goal might be to slander Huamin. Once Huamin testifies for me and clears my name, she would fall into that person's trap. Now that things have developed into this situation, perhaps that's the true goal of the mastermind. Holy shit. No way, that's too scary. It's a series of traps. Tang Chuan exclaimed. Wei Liao and Suyu looked at each other, seemingly understanding each other's thoughts. Wei Liao stomped on the cigarette, and said in a serious tone, If that's the case, then this person is very scary. Zhao Xia was used, and slandering you was also a catalyst. He calculated everything, including the time you met Huamin and his understanding of Huamin's personality. That's why he was able to control the situation and make things develop in the direction he wanted. This person is incredible. I just have a feeling, but I'm not sure. So, are you going to investigate it? Of course, this person is not only my enemy, but also Huamin's enemy. I have to find him. Suyu had been holding back his anger. After thinking about it today, he felt that something was wrong. Originally, he also knew that Zhao Xia definitely had an accomplice. Later, he boldly speculated that this matter might have something to do with Huamin, because that person would not sacrifice Zhao Xia to do something that could not be blackmailed at all. This was tantamount to a waste of time, because everyone knew Suyu's identity. Even if they went to court, they would not lose the case. This was an irrefutable fact. Huamin was framed, so he must not be on good terms with Qin Chu. Therefore, the most likely suspect is the murderer. I thought of someone, Tang Chuan suddenly said. Is it Song Yisher? Wei Liao blurted out. Smart. Tang Chuan gave him a thumbs up. I don't think it's Song Yisher. Suyu shook his head and rejected Tang Chuan's suggestion. She's the most suspicious. You don't know how ambitious your woman is, right? She moved to Imperial Park. What kind of place is that? That's where Huo Min and Qin Shu live. Plus, Song Yisher has a lot of power and connections. It's convenient for her to do things. Tang Chuan especially disliked Song Yisher because the socialites who were close to Song Yisher were all famous scheming bitches in the industry. In the past, Tang Chuan had a girlfriend who was bullied by those women. Because of this, Tang Chuan even had a fight with him on Weibo. Zhao Qing's accident happened a long time ago, and Song Yisher just came back not long ago. I don't think she would think of a way to do something like this. If the mayor's daughter is involved in something like murder and Bingdu, it will affect her father's career. I don't think Song Yisher would take such a risk just to frame Huo Min and ruin their relationship. This was Wei Liao's analysis. Wei Liao had always been known for his intelligence, so Suyu would often discuss things with him that he couldn't figure out. Suyu nodded and agreed with Wei Liao. That's strange. Who else could it be? Tang Chuan muttered to himself. This person must be someone important, and they're ruthless, Suyu speculated. Hey, do you guys think it could be Lady Qin? Doesn't she hate Huo Min the most? Tang Chuan suddenly thought of someone and quickly asked. Chapter 925. Well, it's hard to say for now, but such a meticulous plan doesn't seem like something Lady Qin would do. If it were her, there would be someone helping her behind the scenes. I've seen Lady Qin's interview before. She's extremely brainless. Suyu obviously didn't have a high opinion of Lady Qin. Okay, let's not dwell on it for now. Since we know it's a conspiracy, let's investigate it. As long as it's man-made, there must be flaws. There will be clues left behind, Tang Chuan suggested. Okay, come, let's have a drink. After all these years, I've finally been tricked by someone, Suyu raised his glass. Qin family mansion. After dinner, Mayor Song and his wife chatted with the Qin family couple in the living room. Qin Shu was about to drive away when Song Yisher followed him out. Qin Shu, can you give me a ride home? I'm a little sleepy. I still have to work on the renovation of the school tomorrow, so I want to go home early and rest. Okay. Qin Shu nodded and didn't say anything else. Song Yisher opened the door to the passenger seat and was about to get in. Qin Shu said, "Go sit in the back." Before she could say anything, Qin Shu continued, "Mian doesn't like other people sitting in my passenger seat." Oh, okay. Song Yisher smiled. Then, she immediately got up, opened the car door, and got in. Although she was a little upset, she didn't show it on her face. On the way back, Qin Shu drove without saying anything. He seemed to be in a bad mood and only ate a dumpling for dinner. Are you in a bad mood? Song Yisher asked. No, actually, the rumors are spreading like wildfire, and everyone knows about it. I know why you're like this even if you don't tell me, but I believe in Huo Min. There's nothing between her and Suyu. You believe her? Qin Shu was slightly startled. That's right. If there really was something going on, Huo Min wouldn't have testified. Wouldn't that leave evidence for others to use against him? It's precisely because she has nothing that she has to testify for Suyu. She has a good character, so I believe that she and Suyu are definitely not like what the outside world says. Upon hearing what Song Yisher said, Qin Shu was quite surprised. To be honest, he thought that Song Yisher would take the opportunity to slander Huo Min, but she didn't. She actually said that she believed in Huo Min. This woman was really not ordinary. Thank you on behalf of Mian. Qin Shu's attitude was obviously better than before. Even though he was still angry with her, he felt comfortable listening to her speak up for Huo Min. But I heard it from people in the industry. Don't think too much, I'm just saying. Go ahead, Qin Shu said when he heard Song Yisher's hesitation. I heard that Suyu has liked Huo Min for a long time, right? I didn't know before, after all, I just came back not long ago. But I can tell that two of my friends went overboard last time at my house and bullied Huo Min. Do you remember? That night, Suyu turned his car around and deliberately hit my friend's car. At the time, I was quite confused, but now that I think about it, he might really be interested in Huo Min. Qin Shu drove, but didn't respond. Song Yisher couldn't guess what Qin Shu was thinking, so she immediately said, but I believe that Huamin doesn't have that kind of intention. After all, he's married to you. After all, you guys have been together for so many years, right? She said this to get on Qin Shu's good side. I'm not angry because I suspect that there's something going on between Mian and Su Yu. Qin Shu said word for word. Then you? I'm angry because she did it without regard for her own reputation. I don't care about my reputation, and I don't care about GK's reputation, but I care about her. I can't stand her being criticized by everyone. Qin Shu said slowly. Song Yishur was quite shocked when she heard what he said. I didn't think that you loved her so deeply, she said unhappily. Chapter 926. Of course. I'm so jealous of Huamin. She has you to love her so much. Song Yishur smiled. Qin Shu didn't say anything else. The two of them returned to Imperial Park together. It was already late at night, and the streets were deserted. However, no one noticed an invisible camera that was stuck on a tree branch not far away. The red dot kept blinking as if it was recording something. After they returned to the neighborhood, Song Yishur stopped pestering Qin Shu and went home. Qin Shu didn't go upstairs. Instead, he drove out. This time, he drove directly to Sky Blessing Court. However, he was surprised to find that Huamin's car wasn't there. He drove to Southside Recuperation Center. When he saw the Audi R8 parked in the hospital's parking lot, he realized that Huamin didn't go home. He should have held back during the Cold War, but he realized that he missed her like crazy. He missed her every frown and smile. He missed her voice. He wanted to hug her to sleep. He wanted to smell her baby-like scent. He wanted to look at her slightly curled eyelashes as she slept. The longing grew crazily in his heart. In the end, he couldn't suppress it. It overflowed. He held back for 7 years in the United States, but now he couldn't hold back for even one day. He was used to having her by his side. It was like how water was important to a fish and how the sky was important to a bird. Huamin wasn't the head nurse anymore, so she wasn't on duty at the public TV station. She was still on duty at the office during the night shift. If there was a patient, she would treat them. However, there weren't any emergencies in the neurology department, so she didn't have much to do at night. Dr. Hua, there's a patient at night. The assistant nurse knocked on the door to remind her. Is it my department? Huamin asked. Yes, they're in the emergency room in the lobby. They seem to be in a hurry. Okay, I'll be right down. Huamin looked at her phone. It was already late at night. They should be in a hurry to see a patient at this time, right? Therefore, she got up, put on her white coat, and walked out. In the lobby downstairs, a woman and an old lady were accompanying a man in his 30s. His whole body was twitching, and his mouth kept saying something. He couldn't understand, but he seemed to be very agitated. Dr. Hua is here. You can talk to him, the nurse said to the patient's family. Doctor, quickly take a look at my husband. I don't know what happened to you. You suddenly became like this. It's so scary. Is it epilepsy? Or is he mentally ill? The woman said anxiously. Huamin looked at the man. He seemed to be in a trance. Any history of mental illness? No. The woman shook her head. Does anyone in the family have a medical history? In the immediate family? Huamian asked. The old lady beside him quickly shook her head. No, neither his father nor I have. There's so much gold on the ground. Ha ha! Why don't you guys pick it up, you idiots? After saying that, the man lowered his head uncontrollably and seemed to be drawing something on the ground. Hubby, look at me. Don't scare me. The woman was so scared that she started crying. I don't think he has epilepsy. How about this? Bring him in first. I'll give him a shot of sedative and then draw his blood for a blood test. Okay. The woman and the old lady panicked. Following Hua Min's instructions, they helped the man up and tried to drag him into the clinic. Suddenly, the man slapped the woman and sent her flying. Then, he kicked the old lady away. Everyone screamed in fear. The timid nurses were so scared that they retreated. For some reason, the man went crazy. He raised his head and looked at Huamin. You demon, why did you steal my gold? Before Huamin could say anything, the man suddenly ran over and grabbed Huamin's neck with both hands. Then, he strangled her tightly. I'm going to strangle you to death, you demon. You ruined my plans and blocked my path to wealth. I'm going to strangle you to death. The man's gaze was fierce. Hubby, don't do this. Let go. She's the doctor. The woman ran over while crying, but no matter what she did, he wouldn't let go. Huamin felt like she was going to suffocate when someone suddenly grabbed her by the neck. She reached out to take out the silver needles that she always carried with her, but she realized that her hands wouldn't listen to her. Her brain was running out of oxygen. Just as she felt like she was going to be strangled to death, suddenly, a figure flashed over and pulled the man away. Then, the man was violently thrown a few meters away. Huamin slowly fell to the ground. Qin Chu hugged her. He was so nervous that his heart almost stopped. Honey, are you okay? Chapter 9:27. Huamin wanted to say something, but she couldn't. She reached out and touched Qin Chu's face, her eyes unfocused. To be honest, Qin Chu was scared out of his wits. He didn't care that there were people around them and immediately performed CPR. After about half a minute, Huamin finally came back to her senses. Why are you here? Huamin asked weakly when she saw Qin Chu. Dr. Hua, it's a good thing that your husband is here. Otherwise, you would be in big trouble. The patient who was sent in just now went crazy and hurt people everywhere. He almost strangled you, the nurse explained. Huamin thought for a moment and then got down from Qin Chu's arms. She gently stroked her forehead as she walked unsteadily. Qin Chu was worried, so he quickly went up to help her up. Where's the patient? Huamin asked. He was tied up by our security. We were afraid that he would hurt people again. Huamin nodded. Let's do a urine test. I don't think he's mentally ill. If I'm not wrong, he probably ate something. Okay, Dr. Hua. The nurse nodded and immediately did as Huamin instructed. Qin Chu helped her to a bench in the consultation room and sat down. Then, he poured her a glass of warm water and handed it to her. Thank you. Huamin took the water. She was still very weak, as if she hadn't recovered yet. Why are you being so polite? Qin Chu finally let out a sigh of relief when he saw that she was fine. Why are you here? Huamin finally noticed that Qin Chu was here at this time. It was already so late. If I didn't come, my wife would have been strangled to death, Qin Chu said angrily. Huamin, I'm going to tell Wu Zhongxing tomorrow to transfer you out of the neurology department. It's too dangerous. Huamin, then which subject do you think I'm suitable for? The finance department is not bad. You can work in the finance department. It's good to calculate the salary of the employees, Qin Chu said seriously. Huamin, it was not easy for her to get the medical registration certificate, but Qin Chu actually asked her to work as an accountant in the finance department. What a crazy idea. Before Huamin could say anything, the nurse knocked on the door and walked in. Dr. Hua, the results are out. The urine test is positive. Call the police and send him to the Public Security Bureau. Huamin had long suspected that the man had eaten something, which was why he was so abnormal. He was neither mentally ill nor epileptic. This kind of person was really a danger to society. What do you think of my proposal? What suggestion? It's about finance. Qin Chu did not give up. For the first time, he realized that being a doctor was such a dangerous profession. If he had arrived a step later, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Huamin raised his head and asked, then I might as well quit my job and wait at home to give birth to the baby. How about that? Good idea, it's perfect. Huamin, President Qin, please don't make a fuss. I'm still at work and I'm very tired. You should go back. Huamin felt that Qin Chu's suggestion was completely unreasonable. If she quit her favorite profession, wouldn't she be bored to death? Huamin turned around and walked upstairs to her office. Qin Chu followed. What are you doing? Keeping you company. Why do you want to keep me company? Aren't we in a Cold War? Huamin did not forget that they had not reconciled. A Cold War and keeping you company don't conflict, Qin Chu replied cleverly. But you're affecting my work. I was the one who gave you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Now you remember that I'm affecting your work. Huamin, can't you have some conscience? Qin Chu was speechless. His wife was really good at burning bridges. Did you enjoy your dinner? Huamin asked. Qin Chu was silent. He did not know what she was trying to say. Were the dumplings good? Huamin asked with a smile. Yes. Were the song you sure good? Was it better than the dumplings? Huamin continued to smile. However, her smile made Qin Chu's hair stand on end. Dumplings, song sure, she knew all about it. This was troublesome. Chapter 928. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you thinking about how to answer my question? Huamin asked when he saw that Qin Chu wasn't saying anything. Honey, you're right. I did have dinner with Song Yisher tonight. MHM. So, there's conclusive evidence that you cheated on her, right? Huamin continued to ask. Cheated on me? Qin Chu was dumbfounded. Huamin was making a big deal out of nothing. Why are you looking at me, so surprised? Do you think I don't know anything? Do you think I'm easy to fool? No, I'm just surprised. Where did your imagination come from? How could you infer that I cheated on you from eating dumplings? You're a god. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Am I not? Don't you think you've been hanging out with Song Yisher too much lately? Last night, she delivered supper, and today she had dinner. Tomorrow night, even kids know how to cook? Qin Chu, what? You're speechless? Then please go back. Also, help me pass a message to Song Yisher. Huamin said it in all seriousness, but Qin Chu almost burst out laughing. What message? As long as I'm alive, she's just a concubine. Qin Chu, honey, don't insult me like that. I haven't even punished you for being a witness for Su Yu. Why would I punish me? There's nothing going on between me and Su Yu. Then what's going on between me and Song Yisher? Qin Chu felt wronged. But I didn't eat dumplings with Su Yu, and Su Yu didn't deliver dinner to me. Su Yu didn't move to Imperial Park either. Su Yu isn't my childhood friend. He didn't know me when we were 8, and he didn't go to Sky Blessing Court every day to pretend to be a good girl in front of my mother. Huamin continued to dig. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? Don't think you can win me over with your smile. Huamin had to admit that Mr. Qin looked very handsome when he smiled. Honey, it turns out that you're really so fun when you're jealous. Is it fun? Why don't I think so? Don't you think you're being too much? Mr. Qin. Huamin crossed his arms and angrily questioned Qin Chu. Honey, let's get this straight. Everything started because you testified for Su Yu, and now rumors are flying everywhere. Not only are you not repentant, but you're also ignoring me and leaving me alone in the house. You're so willful that it's almost 5 stars. It's fine if you don't come home, but I thought you went back to your parents' home, but you didn't. Instead, you're working the night shift at the hospital. Why don't you take care of your body? Can you face your brother, Jixin, who loves you dearly? Can you face your husband, me, and the medicine you drank and vomited? Gah! Huamin was completely dumbfounded. She didn't know that Mr. Qin was so good at arguing. She thought she was good enough, but in the end, Mr. Qin used the medicine as a weapon and used it as a weapon. If you don't care about your body and stay up late, what if our baby is a night owl in the future? Who's going to take the blame? Qin Chu pretended to question her. Huamin was speechless. She stared at Qin Chu with wide eyes, speechless. She didn't know what to say. Who wants to have a baby with you? Hurry up and have one with Song Yisher. She's so pretty, she can give birth to a little Jilin for you. Huamin's words were full of jealousy. No, I only want a baby with a high IQ. Only a baby with you can continue your high IQ. So, you married me just to have a baby with a high IQ? Huamin's face darkened. What else? Is it because you're living a good life? For the first time in his life, Mr. Qin retorted back at Huamin. His words were like a bomb to her. After a while, she pointed at the office door and said, "Get out right now." Seeing that Huamin was angry, Qin Chu was secretly happy. He was finally free from his wife's oppression. So he waved his hand and said, it's fine, it's fine. I said the wrong thing. I apologize, I regret it. Honey, you're living the best life. No one in the world can compare to you. Okay? Qin Chu. Huamin gritted her teeth as she looked at the man in front of her. She really wanted to ask him why he was here tonight. Was he here to argue or to reconcile? Or was he here to cause trouble for her? Chapter 929. Honey, don't look at me like that. I won't be able to control myself. There was only one person in the world who could drive someone as calm as Huamin crazy, and that was Qin Shu. Qin Shu, are you here to pick a fight with me? Huamin asked with a straight face. No. Then why are you here? Huamin didn't understand why Qin Shu would show up at Southside in the middle of the night. Weren't they in a Cold War? I'm missing a certain heartless person. Qin Shu spoke the truth. You're not talking about me, are you? If it wasn't you, then did you think I came to Southside to see a doctor? Qin Shu was speechless. Huamin turned her head away and didn't say anything, but she was still angry. There was still a handprint left by the patient on her neck. Qin Shu furrowed his brows. His heart ached for her. Honey, let's stop fighting. What? Are you admitting your mistake? Huamin saw that Qin Shu seemed to want to reconcile. Is it that important who's right and who's wrong? Family is a place for love, not reason, Qin Shu said slowly. To be honest, Huamin was slightly moved by what Qin Shu said. Some people just couldn't tell the difference. They were nice to outsiders, but had a bad temper with their family. Huamin wasn't so bad. If it weren't for the fact that it involved her principles, she wouldn't have gotten mad at Qin Shu. You don't suspect that Suyu and I are having an affair? Huamin looked at Qin Shu and questioned him coldly. Then do you suspect that there's something going on between me and Song Yishe? Qin Shu asked back. Of course not. After calming down, Huamin trusted Qin Shu very much. Not to mention one Song Yishe. Even if there were 10 Song Yishe, she still wouldn't think that Qin Shu would be snatched away. She knew Qin Shu's heart wasn't with Song Yishe. If he could cheat on someone just by looking at their face, then GK had countless beautiful women, including Jiang Linyue. They weren't any less beautiful than Song Yishe, but Qin Shu had never cheated on her, let alone Song Yishe. Since you trust me so much, what else can I say? I am indeed angry about the matter between you and Suyu. I don't care about the rumors outside. I only care that you're being attacked personally. It's okay. I'm used to it. It's not the first time I've been slandered anyway. Plus, I'm not a White Lotus. I'm not afraid of slandering. A life without slandering isn't a complete life. Honey, you're always right. After calming down, Qin Shu no longer cared about the gains and losses of this incident. Instead, he humbly admitted his mistake. Although it wasn't his fault, when he saw Huamin almost choked to death, his heart almost jumped out of his chest. If this was the last time he saw Huamin, and they were separated forever, he would die of sadness, wouldn't he? What was he going to do for the rest of his life? He didn't dare to imagine what his life would be like without Huamin. When Huang Yu died, Huamin once said that other than life and death, everything else was insignificant. He thought that this made sense. As long as they were alive, they should cherish it. As long as they were still together, they shouldn't care about insignificant things. Don't think that I can forgive you just because of this. Then the next time we make love, I'll let you be on top, and I'll be on the bottom. He was doing it again and again. Every time after the rain, he would say something shocking. Qin Shu, can't you just have a nice chat? Honey, the night is long. It's so boring to just talk. HM, there's a bed here. Why don't we? Are you crazy? This is a hospital. Don't even think about it. Honey, what I meant was that we can lie down and chat. Qin Shu looked like he was wronged. Huamin felt awkward once again. He didn't say anything, but she always misunderstood him. Who wants to lie down and chat with you? Hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my work. After speaking, Huamin pushed Qin Shu out. Honey, if you don't welcome me, then I'm going to go find Song Yishe, Qin Shu said on purpose. Huamin was furious upon hearing this. Qin Shu, don't you dare. If you go find her, then what do you want? Qin Shu laughed as he looked at the furious Huamin. I'm going to find Suyu too. I'm going now, Huamin said angrily. Sure, we're going in the same direction. The Song family and the Su family aren't far from each other. Do you want me to give you a ride? Qin Shu smiled. Huamin stomped her feet in anger upon hearing this. Qin Shu, you're so despicable. I want to... Before she could finish her sentence, Qin Shu suddenly hugged her. Qin Shu suddenly rushed over, hugged her, and kissed her domineeringly. Chapter 9:30. Huomin never thought that, even if they weren't at home or in GK's office, Huomin would still be able to kiss Huomin. Mr. Qin could kiss her whenever he wanted. He arrogantly pushed her down, and then, "Dr. Hua, are you okay?" The nurse, who didn't know what was going on, finally remembered that Huomin was in danger. He had barged in without a single thought, and all he asked was, however, she was dumbfounded by the scene in front of her. I'm sorry, Dr. Hua, you guys continue." The nurse slammed the door shut and ran away. Huomin pushed Qin Chu away and punched him in the shoulder. "See, it's all your fault. This girl has a big mouth. I bet the entire South Side knows about it now. What's wrong with me kissing my wife?" Qin Chu felt wronged. After the kiss, the two of them didn't feel so awkward anymore. Qin Chu grabbed Huomin's hand and placed it in his palm. "Honey, I still want to talk to you about Su Yu. Didn't you say it's over? Why don't you let it go?" Huomin looked at him helplessly. Qin Chu shook his head. "It's not about that. I'm talking about Su Yu being framed this time. What's wrong?" Huomin thought that it was normal for someone as arrogant as Su Yu to be framed, right? After all, he had too many enemies. I don't think Su Yu was framed this time, but the target wasn't him. The truth was, Qin Chu should have suspected it a long time ago, but he was too angry at Huomin. "You mean?" Huomin seemed to have realized something. "Who's the ultimate victim?" Qin Chu continued to ask. "Me and you." Huomin reacted quickly. Su Yu had been slandered, and this matter concerned two people. One was her, and the other was Qin Chu. Because she was now surrounded by negative news, Qin Chu was also implicated. That's right. That's why I think the mastermind's goal isn't to do anything to Su Yu. After all, the Su Yu's power is there. Su Yu wouldn't have done this anyway. You stood out to testify, which should be exactly what he wants. You're jealous of the time you met Su Yu, including the strange death of that woman. This matter is very strange. After Qin Chu finished speaking solemnly, Huomin also fell into deep thought. That's right. Previously, she only cared about testifying for Su Yu to clear his name and didn't think too much about other things. Now, it seemed like Su Yu was fine to begin with. The ones who were really affected were her and Qin Chu. Then, if this theory is correct, then this person is too scary. Not only did he know the exact time I met Su Yu, but he also planned the woman's death. Most importantly, if I didn't testify, then his hopes would have been dashed, but he tricked me into coming out. "So, this person might know you very well," Qin Chu said slowly as he placed Huomin's hand on his chest. "Could it be?" Huomin looked at Qin Chu with her eyes wide open. She seemed to have an answer in her heart. "Yes, the person you're thinking of is also my candidate. It's just that we don't have any evidence." Qin Chu nodded. He could guess who Huomin was referring to. This matter concerned a life. I really don't want it to be him. Maybe he has more than one life in his hands. He's always been a decisive person. Huomin didn't say anything after hearing this, but her heart turned cold. She couldn't imagine that a human life could be used to achieve a certain goal. Of course, she didn't have any evidence. It was just a small inference. Right now, the enemy is in the dark while we're in the light. No matter what, we're at a disadvantage, and it's very difficult to investigate. If we don't do it right, we might alert the enemy. Yes, I really didn't care before. I didn't think so much about it. The key is, what's his goal? Is it just to smear my name? I've already done enough bad things about me. There's nothing to be afraid of, and he won't get anything out of it, right? Huomin couldn't figure out that person's ultimate goal was to smear her name. It wasn't worth it to pay such a big price. "Is it a big enough price for you to leave me?" Qin Chu asked back. Huomin was slightly stunned. Chapter 9:31. If I leave you, what good would that do him? Huomin looked at Qin Chu in surprise. That depends on him. After all, we're not him, so we can't guess what he's thinking. But speaking of which, that's just what I think. I don't have any proof that it's him. That's one of his smarts. He never leaves any evidence behind, Huomin commented. This was why she and Qin Chu had never liked him since they were kids. Qin Chu remained silent and agreed with Huomin. On this matter, the two of them were on the same page. "Honey, I suddenly have an idea. Huamin turned her head and looked at Qin Shu up close with a hint of excitement in her eyes. What is it? I think we can continue to pretend that we're in a Cold War. Then we can beat him at his own game and see how far he can go. Since we're already in the game, why not play along? No, that's too dangerous. I'm afraid it'll be bad for you. Qin Shu secretly tightened his grip on Huamin's hand, as if he was afraid that he would lose her at any moment. It won't be dangerous. Actually, if he wanted to do something to me, he had plenty of chances to do so. He wouldn't go through so much trouble. I really want to see what kind of game he's playing. Huamin's intuition tells her that there won't be any danger. It was because she didn't know what he was up to that she was curious and wanted to continue investigating. Before Qin Shu could say anything, Huamin added, "Honey, even if we're safe this time, it doesn't mean it'll be the same next time. He might continue to cause trouble and lead us into a trap. I think we should take advantage of this opportunity and beat him at his own game. If we put on an act together, we won't be exposed, right? But even if it's just an act, the Cold War will still continue. That way, I won't be able to see you or hug you." Qin Shu obviously didn't want to. Aren't we trying to lure the snake out of its hole? It's not like it's real. We can contact each other in private and send WeChat messages. Didn't you install anti-eavesdropping sensors on our phones? It's not like they'll find our phones. Huamin smiled. Qin Shu didn't say anything. What Huamin said was indeed reasonable. Although the method was a bit risky, it was not a good idea to be passive all the time. This time, he had used Su Yu and Zhao Xia's death. Who knew what would happen next time? After struggling for a long time, he finally gave in to Huamin's pestering. Qin Shu nodded reluctantly. Huamin happily pecked the corner of his mouth, her eyes full of happiness. "Honey, thank you for your hard work. We have to work together against the enemy." Huamin was instantly filled with positive energy. "You have to promise me that as soon as you see danger, you will immediately stop the plan. Don't let anything happen to you. If you don't, I will never forgive you." "I know." Huamin playfully stuck out her tongue. She felt like Qin Shu was overly nervous. She wasn't made of paper. How could she be that weak? In the end, Qin Shu reluctantly left Southside and drove back to Imperial Park. Huamin, on the other hand, continued to work the night shift. The next morning, a piece of news once again attracted the attention of the entire city. A tabloid published an even more shocking piece of news. GK's CEO, Qin Shu, met with a mysterious woman in the middle of the night and is suspected of having an affair. As soon as the news came out, it caused another uproar. Huamin seduced Su Yu first, and Qin Shu met with a woman he didn't know. Were the two of them going to heaven? The worst part was that there was a blurry photo attached to the article. In Qin Shu's car, there was a long-haired woman in the back seat, but her face couldn't be seen clearly. However, it definitely wasn't Huamin. Huamin's hair was shoulder length, not waist length. Zhu Lingling lost her cool as soon as she got off the plane. She immediately drove straight to Southside. As soon as she entered the office, she grabbed Huamin by the collar and dragged him outside. "Sis, what are you doing? It's still early in the morning. I haven't gotten off work yet." "What work? Your husband is running away with someone. Did you know that?" Zhu Lingling's face was filled with anger. Chapter 9:32. Ha! Who did he run off with? Huamin couldn't stop laughing. "You're still laughing. You should be more careful." After speaking, Zhu Lingling took out a newspaper from her bag and threw it on Huamin's desk. "Look, the date of the photo shows that it was 11:40 p.m. last night. It was so late, but Qin Shu was in the car with a woman, and that woman wasn't you. Do you know what the worst part is?" "I don't know." Huamin shook his head adorably and cooperated with Zhu Lingling. "Look at what the newspaper says. This photo was taken at the entrance of Imperial Park. The car drove into the neighborhood, which means that your husband brought a woman home last night. Did you know that?" "I don't know." Huamin shook his head again. "You brought a woman home last night. What about you? Where did you go?" Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. "I was on duty. I was at the hospital the whole time." Do you still want to be on duty? Something so big happened, and you're still in the mood to be on duty?" I thought you two fought and you went back to South Hill Manor, but you're actually at the hospital. You must be drunk. Huamin looked at the time of the photo and smiled, because Qinshu happened to show up at Southside Recuperation Center at around midnight. It would take at least 20 minutes to get from Imperial Park to Southside. This meant that after Qinshu dropped Song Yisha off, he immediately came to Southside. How could he have cheated on her? If there really was something going on, Qinshu wouldn't have brought her back to Imperial Park so openly. Wasn't that just asking for death? Which man would swagger home with a mistress? His wife wasn't dead? Lingling, don't be impulsive. Haha, I don't think it's as serious as you think. Not serious? Don't lie to me. Gao Ran told me that you and Qinshu are in a cold war. Qinshu's been in a bad mood lately, and you don't even talk to him in a good tone. Ever since you testified for Su Yu, the entire situation changed. Why did you have to testify for Su Yu? That guy was born with a diamond spoon in his mouth. He'll be fine without your help. Why did you have to get involved in this mess? Brat, what do we do now? Zhu Lingling was especially worried about Huamin. She had watched her since high school. It wasn't easy to live a happy life, but it just couldn't be peaceful. Every now and then, someone would come and disturb it. She really had to worry about him. Seeing how worried Zhu Lingling was, Huamin was very touched. Lingling, I believe in Qinshu. He wouldn't do anything to hurt me. I won't listen to what the media is saying. Those tabloids love to stir up trouble. They keep saying that Su Yu and I are having an affair. The truth is, there really isn't anything going on between Su Yu and me. Huamin explained, but the rumors are going crazy. They're all saying that you two are having fun on your own and that your marriage exists in name only. They're saying that you signed the divorce agreement a long time ago and are just waiting for the right time to announce it. Go on Weibo and see how many paparazzi are talking about it. Then let them talk. Time will prove everything. Huamin remained calm. However, she couldn't tell Lingling about her plan with Qinshu. It wasn't that she was worried that Lingling would betray her. It was that the fewer people who knew about it, the better. After all, dealing with people wasn't an easy thing. The pressure of public opinion was just a process. In the end, it all depended on the people involved. If Qinshu didn't come last night, she might have exploded in anger. After all, ever since Song Yisha came back to China, she had been giving Huamin trouble. Are you stupid? What if this thing turns out to be true? What if Qinshu really is having an affair? What should we do? Zhu Lingling had been flying all over the country, so she didn't know much about Song Yisha. However, she had heard about her from Gao Ran. After all, she was Mayor Song's daughter and had a powerful family background. Zhu Lingling was worried that one day, Huamin would lose to her because of her family background. If he wants to do that, no one can stop him. If a man doesn't love you, then everything you say and do is wrong. Even if you kneel down and kowtow, it won't change anything. If a man loves you, then no matter how badly you're slandered, no matter how many opponents you meet, you'll always be safe and sound. By now, Huamin had completely recovered. In her heart, this was how Qinshu should be. The man she loved wasn't a shallow jerk, nor was he a man who couldn't withstand the test of time. What if one day, you have no choice but to get a divorce? When that time comes, will you really be able to handle it? Zhu Lingling asked as she looked to Huamin, her heart aching. Chapter 9:33. If that day really comes, I'll have to accept it even if I don't want to, Huamin replied in all seriousness. No, I'm going to talk to Qinshu. I'm going to yell at him. What the hell is going on? Just because of Su Yu, he's causing so much trouble. Did he have to find some long-haired woman? I'm so mad. As Huamin's worst friend, Zhu Lingling wasn't very smart, but she was definitely kind-hearted and loyal. Seeing that Huamin was being treated like this, she was so angry that she wanted to go to GK's headquarters and demand an explanation. However, Huamin quickly pulled her back. My lady, don't do this. Don't go to GK and cause trouble. So many media outlets are watching our every move. If you do this, you'll only make things worse. But if I don't do anything, I'll be so mad. Zhu Lingling complained. You can complain to Gao Ran, then, Use your beauty to conquer him and get some useful information for me. After all, he's Qin Chu's best friend, so he might know a lot of insider information. Huh, that makes sense. Why didn't I think of that? That bastard even invited me to eat little idiot's pig trotters. Okay, let's do this. I'll get some information from that guy, and I'll tell you later. Okay, Huomin nodded. Then you have to hang in there. Don't worry about what those people say. Okay? Zhu Lingling patted Hua Min's shoulder and reminded him, I will, don't worry about me. Then, Zhu Lingling left in a hurry. After the negative news came out, the outside world was abuzz, but Southside was very quiet. Everyone liked Huomin, so they might gossip about him in private. However, no one told her about this, so she was okay. Things weren't as bad as she thought. Dr. Hua, someone's looking for you. Okay. Huomin went out after organizing the information and saw Xiaowan. She was still wearing an old pink down jacket. The style was old, and the color wasn't as bright as it used to be. The cotton-padded shoes on her feet were also handmade and were not exquisite. However, Huomin liked seeing Xiaowan's down-to-earth appearance. Miss Ye, you're here. The surgery's tomorrow. Did you remember the date wrong? Huomin's TT. No, I know it's tomorrow. I actually came today to see an Yang. You want to see him? Huomin was a bit. Yeah, because I can't take care of him after the surgery, right? I'm right? T's right, so I want to see him before the surgery. Hua test, Hua want to see him. Hua, Tiwatit, I know. I'm prepared for it. I just want to see him. Xiaowan was holding a few apples and bananas in her hands. She looked so shabby. Let's go. I'll take you there. Inside the VIP ward on the top floor, an Yang was watching TV leisurely. Ever since Huomin told him what illness he was suffering from, he didn't let his imagination run wild. He ate well, slept well, and had a normal schedule. All he had to do was wait for the transplant surgery. Therefore, he was in a much better condition. He was even a little chubbier than before. Sister Ingzi was busy with the press conference for Ni Yang's endorsement, so she wasn't present. Only her assistant was at the door. Doctor, is Ni Yang inside? Yeah, he's watching TV. Okay. Huomin nodded and walked in with Xiaowan. Huomin, you? Ni Yang was about to greet Huomin with a smile. However, when he saw Xiaowan behind her, his face immediately turned cold. Why are you here? I heard you were sick, so I came to see you. Xiaowan walked over and carefully placed the fruits on the bedside table. However, Ni Yang pushed the fruits off the table and scattered them all over the floor. Get out of here. Get out of here right now. I don't want to see you for the rest of my life. Upon seeing Xiaowan, Ni Yang became agitated, and his eyes were filled with hatred. Chapter 9:34. Ni Yang, don't be impulsive. She's just here to see you. Huomin, try to comfort Ni Yang. Huomin, you should know my story. I don't want to talk about it. Tell her to leave now. Ni Yang roared. This was the first time he was so angry that even Huomin was shocked. Xiaowan squatted on the ground and picked up the scattered fruits. Then, she placed them on the windowsill and looked at Ni Yang with a complicated expression. Don't be angry, I'll leave right away. I heard that you were sick, so I came to see you. Take care of yourself. Even if I die, it's none of your business. Don't pretend to be a good person, Ni Yang scolded angrily. I know. Anyway, take care of yourself. Xiaowan looked at Ni Yang reluctantly and turned around sadly. Huomin followed her out. Miss Xie, I think that if you told him what happened, he wouldn't hate you so much. Xiaowan shook her head. I hurt him too much, and I owe him too much. Don't talk about it, it's okay. I deserve it. After sending Xiaowan off, Huomin continued to work. She didn't care about what was going on outside. After work, as soon as she walked to the door, she was surrounded by reporters. Ms. Huomin, what do you think about the photo of your husband cheating on you? Do you know the woman in the photo? Or did you know about it a long time ago? Are you really just pretending to be in love with each other? Ms. Huomin, did you sign the divorce agreement? How did you split up the assets? There are rumors that you're going to ask for a huge amount of alimony, right? Ms. Huomin, I heard that the conflict between the two of you is because you don't have children. Does your status as a rich man have anything to do with that? What's your relationship with Suyu? Will you consider dating him after your divorce? Hwamin was about to go crazy from the media's bombardment. The questions he asked were indeed very ridiculous. If it had been in the past, she would have immediately rebuked the media. But now she couldn't. As she still had to continue acting, Hwamin remained silent for 3 seconds before she said, "Thank you for your concern. I'm fine. As for my family matters, it's not convenient for me to talk about them. I believe that time will prove everything. What will come will come." After mumbling these words, Hwamian got in her car and drove away. However, an hour later, the media misinterpreted Hwamin's words as a young lady of GK tacitly admits that their marriage has changed, seems to have already agreed to divorce. After Hwamin got off work, he drove straight back to Sky Blessing Court. This incident was getting bigger and bigger. It was even being reported on TV and radio. Young Mei-rong was restless at home. She had already called Hwamin multiple times. Hwamin didn't think she could explain things over the phone, so she went home and talked to her mother in person. Mian, hurry up and tell me what's going on between you and Qin Shu. What mysterious long-haired beauty? What infidelity? What the hell is going on? Mom, it's nothing, don't worry. Hwamin smiled as she took off her jacket and sat down on the sofa in the living room. She picked up a crystal pear and began nibbling on it. My child, you're still in the mood to eat pears. You're so big-hearted. Yang Mei-rong snatched the crystal pear away and looked at her daughter worriedly. Mom, what do you want to ask? Are you and Qin Shu getting a divorce? Yang Mei-rong asked with a serious expression. No. Then did Qin Shu cheat? Where did you cheat? I've seen a lot of things on TV. I'm confused. Yang Mei-rong still didn't understand who was cheating. So, she didn't know the details. Mom, who do you think is cheating? Hwamin asked with a smile. Don't beat around the bush with me. Hurry up and tell me. I'm so worried. I haven't had a sip of water all day. Yang Mei-rong couldn't handle things well. She couldn't stay calm at the slightest sign of trouble. We'll talk about this later. Mom, let me ask you a question first. Did Uncle Jing have any foreign friends when he was alive? Or business partners? Like someone from the Netherlands? Hwamin asked tentatively. Chapter 9:35. Foreign countries? I don't know them. Yang Mei-rong was confused by Hwamin's sudden change in topic. 1 second, she was asking about her relationship with Qin Shu, and the next, she was talking about Jingda, who had passed away. Think about it carefully. Do you have any relatives? Do you contact them on the phone occasionally? No. Your Uncle Jing doesn't have many relatives. Ever since he got together with me, he barely had any relatives. He was introverted and didn't like to communicate. Plus, he didn't even graduate from elementary school. Where'd he find foreign friends? Plus, he doesn't know any foreign languages. Why are you asking? Oh, nothing. I was just asking. Hwamin didn't mention her birth to Yang Mei-rong. After all, her mother didn't know the truth. If she found out one day that Hwamian wasn't her biological daughter, she would be very disappointed, right? Or she would be very sad. Don't change the topic. Tell me about you and Qin Shu. Mom, we're really fine. The media is just making things up. Don't listen to them. As long as I don't tell you that I'm divorcing Qin Shu, don't believe me. Don't lie to me. Are you really okay? Yang Mei-rong asked again worriedly. We're really fine. Mom, I swear I'm not lying to you. Hwamin raised her hand and swore. However, her mother immediately slapped it away. Don't swear, it's bad luck. Okay, since you're fine, I'm not worried anymore. Are you hungry? I'm going to cook. Handmade noodles. Thanks, Mom. This girl of all things, why does she eat those weird things? Although Yang Mei-rong said that, she still went into the kitchen to make noodles for Hwamin. Hwamin was scrolling through her WeChat friend circle on her phone. A lot of people asked her about this, but she didn't reply because she didn't know them well. Hwamin, come out. No one but Jiang Xiaowei could use such a domineering tone. What's up? Hwamin sent a smiley face. The photo that was leaked today looks like that little bitch Song Yishur. Pfft. You can see it even though it's so blurry. You must be a god. Huamin truly admired Jiang Xiaowei. What's going on? It's only been a few days since you and Qin Shu met. You and Su Yu, and he and Song Yishu, are you both having an affair? Jiang Xiaowei asked with a smile. That's right. That's why I'm thinking of getting a huge amount of alimony so that I can leave as soon as possible. Not bad, not bad. Rich man, please take me in. With GK's financial resources, you'll get a lot of alimony. Of course. Follow me from now on. I'll bring you to show off and soar. Huh? You really know how to talk nonsense. Jiang Xiaowei laughed. How have you been? How's the wedding planning going? Pretty good. Wei Liao lets me make all the decisions. But I really don't like his parents. They talk about money all the time. They're such vulgar people. But Weiing is pretty good. My sister-in-law has been chasing a young man like crazy. That's a hot topic. If your sister-in-law likes him, he must be extraordinary. Yeah, he's the young master of the Shun family. He just came back to China and attended Su Yu's birthday party. I think he's very low-key, but I heard he's very popular. Huiyin is also chasing him, and there are a few other socialites in Song Yishu's group. It's hard to say who will win him in the end. Is he that popular? Is he good-looking? Huamin gossiped, which was rare for him. His looks. How should I put it? He's at least as good as an Aiyong. My gosh, no wonder they're all trying so hard to get him. But Huiyin probably doesn't have any advantages. She seems to be having a hard time lately. Huamin analyzed. Don't worry about her. Just worry about yourself, sis. People are saying you're going to get a divorce. Haha, what do you think? I think if people are saying you're going to get a divorce, you'll be fine. But if people say you're still in love, then you'll be in danger. After all, you're such a weirdo. Your style is different from others, right? Sure enough, Jiang Xiaowei was smart enough to analyze Huamin's situation. Jiang Xiaowei didn't care what the media said. When she talked to Huamin, she saw Huamin's attitude and knew she was fine. Otherwise, why would she be chatting with her on WeChat? She probably went somewhere to cry. Okay, Dr. Jiang, you know me best. But then again, how are you going to deal with Song Yishu? Every time I see her, I'm pissed. Jiang Xiaowei asked Huamin through a voice message as she drank yogurt. Chapter 9:36. Teach her a lesson? Why would I teach her a lesson? Huamin was speechless. Isn't she preoccupied with Qin Shu? Even a blind person can tell. How could a smart person like you not know? Ever since I got together with Qin Shu, I've gotten used to all kinds of people. The key is that Qin Shu doesn't care, so I'm not angry. But Song Yishu is a really difficult person to deal with. She's a bit contradictory, sometimes good and sometimes bad. People like her are the hardest to deal with because she's fickle and she's a hypocrite. That's right. So the sooner we get rid of her, the sooner we can be at ease. We still have to get rid of the weeds, Jiang Xiaowei reminded. She's not that easy to deal with. Her identity alone is very powerful. You're worried about Mayor Song? Jiang Xiaowei asked back. That's not it. I just feel like Song Yishu hasn't really done anything yet. If I act rashly, I might fall in her trap. So, it's better to wait and see. That's a good idea. Anyway, if you need my time, just let me know. Although I'm pregnant, I can still help you. Haha. Thank you, Dr. Jiang. Go away. Don't talk to me. Okay, I'm going to sleep. I've been sleeping a lot lately. Okay. After chatting with Jiang Xiaowei, her mother made a bowl of handmade noodles. It was very simple. She only put some vegetables in it. It was fragrant and tasted just right. It was oily but not greasy. Mom, it's delicious. Teach me how to make noodles. When I'm old, I'll find a nameless town and open a noodle shop. Haha, I'll live until I die. Huamin praised her mother's cooking as she ate. You're so useless. You're a doctor, but you're going to sell noodles in the future. Yang Meiyerong looked at her daughter. She was both angry and amused. After dinner, the mother asked them to leave. Since the two of you are fine, you should go home early. Now that you don't have a child, it's inevitable that outsiders will gossip about you. Hurry up and have a baby. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, I can't have the baby just because I want it. It's not that easy to get pregnant. Do you know how complicated it is? The probability is very low. Moreover, Only one sperm can survive, and it has to run as fast as possible because each egg only has to wait for 48 hours before it closes. Huh, what nonsense is this? I don't understand. Anyway, hold on tight to the baby. Yang Meirong had issued a death order. Huh, all right. I'll try my best. Because he was afraid that his mother would be worried, Huamin couldn't stay in Sky Blessing Court any longer. However, for the sake of her plan, she could not return to Imperial Park, so she returned to South Hill Manor. A young lady, Uncle Lee, and the maids bowed respectfully when they saw Huamin. Thank you all for your hard work. A young lady, do you need me to prepare dinner? Uncle Lee asked politely. No, it's okay. I already ate. Then will Mr. Wu be back later? Uncle Lee and the others seemed to have read the news and understood the conflict between a young lady and their master. He won't be back. You don't have to prepare dinner for him. Okay. Huamin walked upstairs to her bedroom, put down her bag and phone, and took a shower. When she came out, she heard her phone ringing. She looked at the caller ID and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. After a moment of hesitation, she picked it up. Huamin? Yes. I'm Song Yishur. I recognize you. Huamin replied calmly. I'm sorry to bother you so late at night. It's okay. What is it? Can I have a cup of coffee with you? I'm in your coffee shop. It's late. Isn't it inconvenient? Huamin seemed like she wanted to refuse. I have something to talk to you about. I hope you can come. What is it that's inconvenient to talk about over the phone? Huamin asked with a smile. It's about Qin Shu. I want to talk to you in person, Song Yishur replied. Okay, wait for me. Upon hearing that it was about Qin Shu, Huamin decided to go without hesitation. Even if Song Yishur was a ferocious beast, she would still go. She wanted to see what other tricks this woman had up her sleeves. Chapter 9:37. When he arrived at the cafe, he saw Song Yishur sitting by the window on the second floor. It was winter, so she only wore a black woolen jacket, a pair of simple pencil pants, and a pair of heels. Song Yishur had good taste. Because she had been in Italy for many years and was an artist, she was especially good at dressing up. Huamin, on the other hand, wouldn't rather be cold to dress up, so he bought a few cotton-padded jackets. Today, he was wearing a white jacket with cartoon beauties on it. It was a very cute cotton-padded jacket. It was a stark contrast to Song Yishur's black jacket. Sorry, there was a traffic jam. I'm not late, am I? Huamin slowly walked out of the door. He didn't drive fast because he wanted to make Song Yishur wait a little longer. Unexpectedly, this woman had surprisingly good endurance. She only smiled elegantly. It's okay, I understand. What do you want to drink? I'll order for you. A hot latte. Huamin didn't argue and nodded. Waiter, a hot latte, thank you. Song Yishur waved her hand and smiled as she greeted the waiter. Because she was good-looking, she was a beauty that attracted a lot of attention wherever she went. People at the nearby tables kept looking over and whispering. I wonder why Miss Song is looking for me? Huamin took off his jacket and placed it on the chair behind him. Then, he glanced at Song Yishur, who was sitting across from him. She was smiling the whole time, but her words were very sharp. Huamin, you don't have to be so polite. Just call me Sure. It feels weird when you call me Miss Song. I don't think I'm that familiar with you yet. Also, I'm more used to calling you Miss Song. Huamin didn't feel that it was hypocritical to be friends with this woman who was like a love rival. Okay, you can call me whatever you like. Song Yishur had a good temper. She didn't directly dislike Huamin like Jiang Linyue, nor did she blatantly love Qin Shu like Lu Xiying. She always drifted between the lines and had a good grasp of it. She was neither too overboard nor too boring. She was elegant and polite to everyone, and her words weren't too annoying. Many people said that Song Yishur was well-mannered because she came from a high-ranking family. In fact, Huamin thought that women like her were the scariest. She could be friends with you 1 second, and the next second, you'll die without a burial of any kind. Therefore, even if Song Yishur wasn't interested in Qin Shu, Huamin didn't want to befriend a woman like her. From her perspective, this woman definitely wasn't easy to deal with. She was different from Jiang Shaowei. Jiang Shaowei was smart, domineering, and arrogant, but Jiang Xiaowei was open and straightforward. If she liked someone, she would like them. If she didn't like them, she wouldn't even look at them. However, Song Yisher was different. Regardless of whether she liked or disliked someone, she wouldn't show it. That was the scariest part about her. You never knew when she was going to make a move, so Huamin was always on guard. However, it was also very tiring for him. Didn't you call me today to talk about Qinshu? Tell me, I'm actually very interested in anything about my husband. Huamin picked up the coffee spoon and stirred it, then slowly said, Huamin, to be honest, the woman in the photo that the media exposed today is me, Song Yisher slowly said as she looked into Huamin's eyes. Chapter 938. Yeah. Huamin nodded. He didn't know what she was trying to say. But we didn't do what the media said. You know, I live at Imperial Park as well. We had dinner together last night, so he dropped me off. It wasn't just the two of us. There were other families as well. Qinshu didn't know that we were going to have dinner together. He came back at the last minute and saw my dad. The two of them talked about the Land King. I think it's normal, so I hope you don't misunderstand. Yeah, and then? Huamin asked calmly. Then, as you can see, we were photographed by the media, so there was a misunderstanding that we were having an affair. I'm going to explain it to you immediately. Don't misunderstand Qinshu. He cares about you a lot. I don't want to see any flaws in your relationship because of me. I didn't misunderstand. You're thinking too much. I'm afraid you'll think too much about what the media said. Plus, after Qinshu dropped me off last night, he went home as well. There's nothing going on between us. There are videos in the neighborhood. You can take a look for yourself. I know. So you came here today to explain yourself. Huamian looked at Song Yisher. She had a feeling that Song Yisher's motive wasn't as simple as it seemed. That's right. I'm here to explain. Huamin, it's true that I have feelings for Qinshu, but I also know that he's married and that he loves you, so I don't want to play any tricks. I didn't ask you to forgive me or anything. I just hope that as the person involved, you won't misunderstand. Everyone else can misunderstand, but you can't because the person he cares about the most is you. You sound like you know my husband very well. Huamin smiled. The truth is, I do know him very well. Song Yisher was full of confidence. Then, Huamin burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Do you think I'm lying? Song Yisher looked at Huamin and asked gently. No, I'm just curious. You haven't had the chance to meet him since you were 8 years old, so how do you know him so well? I've been by his side for so long, but I don't dare to say that I truly understand him. So, do you really understand him? Or do you think you know it very well? Huamin's words were full of mockery. Indeed, a woman who met Qinshu when she was 8 years old and had not interacted with him for nearly 20 years kept saying that she knew her husband. She felt that it was unscientific. Understanding a person doesn't depend on how long you've been with him. Some couples may not know the true colors of their other half, even though they've been together for a lifetime. However, I feel that Qinshu's true colors have already been revealed to me. You may feel uncomfortable when I say this, but I believe that the Qinshu I see is the Qinshu that I know. So what? No matter how you understand him, he is still my husband. Huamin was still smiling when he said this. She knew how to do what Song Yisher did. She was going to give her a taste of her own medicine. She was going to use what she learned on the spot and say things that hurt. As expected, after hearing this, Song Yisher's expression changed. However, she quickly recovered, which meant that she was still very rational. She looked at Huamin with a smile and said, So you're very lucky? If you're so lucky, you should cherish it. You shouldn't get too close to Suyu. That day at the party, Suyu hurt you a little bit. Luckily, you didn't die, or else you would feel very guilty. In the end, I do have something to say about this. Miss Song, you should be careful when you choose your best friends in the future. You shouldn't hang out with brainless people. They'll lower your IQ. Your best friends are obviously not as smart as you, but it's true, there aren't many people in the world as smart as Miss Song. Geniuses are always lonely. Huamin didn't feel embarrassed because of Su Yu's incident. Instead, he rebutted Song Yisher. Huamin, you're really good at this. Song Yisher looked at Huamin with a deep gaze and an eerie smile on her face. Chapter 9:39. Miss Song, why would you say that? Huamin pretended to be dumb. Nothing. I used to think that since Qin Shu is such an outstanding man, there must be a lot of women trying their best to be by his side. However, in the end, he only chose you and got married so quickly. I used to think that it was because he couldn't let go of his many years of high school romance that he was so stubborn about you. Now, it seems like you're amazing. If I were a man, I like you too, right? Thank you, Miss Song, for your high praise. I'm not that special. I mean, am just an ordinary person. I can cry, I can laugh, I can cry, and I can protect the people I love. If someone wants to ruin our relationship, then I'll definitely face them head on. I'm not the kind of person who'll stand by and do nothing while those pretentious bitches try to ruin our relationship. Huh, you're right. We should take good care of him. Song Yisher didn't want to continue arguing with Huamian. She smiled faintly and picked up her coffee. Miss Song, is there anything else? If not, then I'm leaving. I'm a little tired from working the night shift recently. No, I just wanted to explain to you about the photo. Okay then, I'll be leaving first. Waiter, the bill please. Song Yisher waved her hand elegantly. It's okay, it's my treat. Huamin smiled generously, picked up his bag, and left. We first bought this street. It was half dead. Now, the 13 shops had been refurbished and had become one of the most popular pedestrian streets in the city. There wasn't a single waiter in the cafe who didn't know their boss. Therefore, Song Yisher's table was free of charge, but Song Yisher still wanted to pay the bill? What kind of joke was this? This was her territory. On the way back, Qin Shu sent her a video call. She fixed her phone on a small stand in front of the steering wheel. Hello, Mr. Qin. Pretty good mood. Where did you go? I went to meet Suyu. Huamin laughed maniacally. If you come over now, I promise I won't strangle you to death. Qin Shu said seriously. Ha. I love it when my husband gets jealous. He's so cute. What kind of hobby is this? Qin Shu was speechless. Was his wife's goal to torture him? Build her happiness on top of his pain. Where did you drive to? Back to South Hill Manor. Didn't you go back? Uncle Lee had already informed him earlier, and he could see the situation at South Hill Manor through the surveillance camera on his phone. Before he got off work, he saw Huamin's car go back. Yes, she went back, but she came out again, had a cup of coffee, and then came back. Coffee? With whom? Qin Shu was a little surprised. Take a guess. What do I get if I get it right? Qin Shu asked. 100 yuan. Huamin raised one finger. Qin Shu shook his head. 500 yuan. Qin Shu still shook his head. 1,000 yuan. That's all I can give you. Huamin gritted her teeth and raised the bonus to the maximum. I don't want money. If I get it right, you have to kiss me. How can I kiss you? You're not with me. Through the screen, Qin. That's awkward, okay? Huamin had never done something so low. Just tell me if you can or can't. Qin Shu teased her on purpose. Sure, but you only have one chance. If you get it wrong, you have to kiss me through the screen. Huamin began to show off. She didn't think Qin Shu would get it right, because Qin Shu would probably guess that it was Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling. After all, Huamin drinking coffee with Song Yisher was something no one expected. Sure, Mr. Qin said confidently. Okay, take a guess. Huamian was proud of herself as she hummed the song Back to 17, which was sung by a popular reality show contestant. The lyrics were also very high-key. The sun shines in the sky. The flowers smile at me. The bird says, good morning. Why are you carrying? Before she could finish singing, Qin Shu sat in his office chair and said to Huamin, Song Yisher. Chapter 940. Huamin purposely played dumb. I'm guessing that the person you had coffee with was Song Yisher. You cheated, did you already know? Huamin thought it was too weird. She got it right on the first try. I didn't know, I just deduced it. How'd you deduce it? Tell me. Huamin was obviously not convinced. Zhu Lingling said in the WeChat group that she's flying south tonight, and Jiang Xiaowei is pregnant, so she can't drink coffee. Most importantly, you were so confident that I guessed it was someone I didn't expect, so I guessed it was her. Your brain is so twisted that you're not human. Did you assemble it? Huamian was completely speechless. Qin Shu wouldn't cheat, so he definitely didn't know about her meeting with Song Yishu. And judging from her conversation with Song Yishu, she wouldn't tell Qin Shu of her own accord. So, Qin Shu really did deduce it based on his deductions. Wasn't he too meticulous? She was starting to suspect that Mr. Qin was a Virgo. His deductions were almost on par with Detective Conan. Fine, you win. Huamin couldn't be smug anymore. The song of the little fresh meat drifted out of the car. Back then, I had to memorize all those rules and regulations, but after so many years, I finally learned them. Cheers for the first time, sweet and bitter. I still feel intoxicated when I think about it. Come on, baby. Qin Shu saw that his wife was no longer smug, so he didn't dare to laugh. Instead, he put on a serious expression and moved his face closer. Mr. Qin, this isn't good, right? Huamin was very embarrassed. Only teenage boys and girls would do something as mushy as kissing each other through a screen. She was an adult in her 20s, and she was also the most famous Dr. Hua at Southside. If this got out, her reputation would be ruined. Honey, you have to keep your word. Otherwise, how are you going to educate the baby? Qin Shu said seriously. Oh, okay, I got it. Huamin bit the bullet and slowly parked the car on the side of the road. Then she closed her eyes and kissed the screen softly. I saved it. I'm going to keep this video for the rest of my life. Qin Shu said proudly. Qin Shu, you bastard, you bastard. Huamin was about to go crazy. His embarrassing appearance was actually recorded. How was he going to face his parents in Jiangdong? Huh, what do you think Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling would say if I sent it to our group? Qin Shu smiled. Huamian immediately gave in. Honey, please have mercy on me. Call me Hua Hua bastard. My lord husband. Call me Hua a bastard. Don't call me Hua bastard. Huamin. Huamin was like a little whiny wife. Say Hua bastard. Hua a bastard. Say Hua bastard. You're so handsome. Hua a bastard. You're so handsome. Huamin repeated Qin Shu's words like a broken record. He looked obedient on the surface, but on the inside, he was about to collapse. If he kept playing like this, would he be ruined by Mr. Qin? How embarrassing. He dug his own grave and jumped into it. Why'd he have to guess who he was having coffee with? What a moron. Say Hua bastard, I want it. Huamin was speechless. Say it. Qin Shu, do you have any shame? Huamin asked slowly. Hearing this, Qin Shu couldn't help but laugh out loud. Huamian's heart was filled with warmth and happiness as she looked at the man in the video. His smile was so bright and handsome. Hua bastard, I really miss you. Huamin looked at the man on the other side of the video and said affectionately. Qin Shu felt as if a soft spot in his heart had melted at this moment. All the voices in the world couldn't compare to Huamin's Hua bastard. I really miss you. Chapter 941. Honey, how about we don't carry out that plan? I'll go back and find you. Qin Shu had been thinking about Hua Min the entire day. The more he watched the video, the more he missed him. No, or else all our efforts would go to waste. Just bear with it for a few days, honey. Huamin seemed to really want to find out who was behind all this. Qin Shu looked at her eagerly. They chatted for a while on the way back to South Hill Manor, and it was already past 9 p.m. Huamin took a hot shower and went to bed. He took out a book and started reading. The maid brought him a fruit platter and hot milk, and the service was very good. Just then, his phone rang again. Seeing the number, Huamin immediately put down his book and picked up the phone. Jixin. Sis, are you asleep? Not yet. I'm reading. I knew you wouldn't sleep so early, haha. How are you? Are you used to it? I'm used to it, it's great. The scenery here is beautiful. Sis, if you have time, you can ask my brother-in-law to come visit me. I'll take you guys out to eat good food. MHM, sis, MHM, how have you been? Jing Jixin asked carefully. Very good. You're lying to me again? My classmate told me on QQ about what happened. The media has been saying that you guys are getting a divorce. You believe the media? Are you stupid? But there's no smoke without fire. Did something happen between you and my brother-in-law? No, don't worry about it. Really? Jixin still didn't believe her. Really, my good little brother, don't worry. MHM, that's good. Then, Jixin suddenly said, "Sis, I've been dreaming about you a lot lately. Is that so?" At the mention of Huang Yu, the tone of the two people became heavy. "Yeah, I always dream of her looking at me from afar. Every time I want to get close to her, she's gone. She's so untouchable. Jixin, the dead can't come back to life. You have to accept it. Life is a one-way ticket, and all of us will get off eventually." She just saw the beautiful scenery on the way, so she got off first. "We'll all have the same day, so don't take it too hard. I know, I'm just sad. I once told her that I wanted to work for my brother-in-law's company, earn money to buy a house, marry her, and then go to province for our honeymoon. Unfortunately, these wishes can't come true. You've always loved her deeply, but it's all in the past. Jixin, she's already a part of your life, but that's all in the past. I'm not asking you to forget her. I just want you to learn to let go of her, understand?" "Understand. Okay, big sister, I'm going out for a while. You should sleep early." "Yes." After hanging up on Jixin, Huamin still felt bad. Huang Yu was a huge blow to Jixin, and he wouldn't be able to get over it in a short period of time. She didn't want to be like an Annie who always nagged Jixin about chicken soup for the soul. But occasionally, she would try to guide him out of his sorrow. In fact, life was a process of constant gain and loss. All of us would experience it. Our family, lovers, and friends would all leave us one day. So even if we were sad, it wouldn't help. Occasionally, she would choose some more literary books to read to recharge herself. Recently, she had been very fond of a poet called Sangyang Yatso. He had a poem called That Life, which was very famous. Huamin opened Weibo and posted it. She said, "I closed my eyes in the fragrance of the scripture hall suddenly. I heard you chanting the scriptures. That month I shook all the scripture cylinders, not for transcendence, only for touching your fingertips. That year I kowtowed on the mountain road, not for an audience, only for the warmth of your body, that life-turning mountains, rivers, pagodas. Not for the afterlife, only for meeting you on the way. That moment I raised the wind horse, not to beg for blessings, only to wait for your arrival. That day I built a mani pile, not for the virtue, only to throw stones into the lake of your heart. That night I listened to Sanskrit all night, not for enlightenment, only to find a trace of your breath. That moment I flew and became an immortal, not for immortality, only to bless you with peace and joy. That day, that month, that year, that life, it's just that night. I forgot everything. I abandoned my faith and gave up reincarnation, only for the rose that once cried in front of the Buddha. It had long lost its former luster." Huamin hadn't posted on Weibo for a long time. When she posted again, the comment section blew up again. This time, it was a mix of scolding and praise. So he was a little excited to see her post. He asked her in a private message, "Huamin, do you believe in destiny?" Chapter 942. "I believe you." Huamin immediately replied, "I feel like I'm the one who's been crippled by fate. Haha, maybe other people think that my background is too dazzling and enviable. Some even say that I saved the galaxy in my previous life, but I know that other than not lacking in material things, I'm no different from a normal person. I also thought that I was blessed by the heavens and that I was better at reincarnating. Only now do I realize that all of this is just a side benefit, because in the future, I'll be played to death." Huamin didn't reply, because she didn't know how to respond. Suyu continued, "I never thought that I, Suyu, would one day be unable to get what I wanted. Did you know? When you grow up and everything is within your reach, you don't care about anything. Until one day, I realized that there was something beautiful, but it didn't belong to me. I felt a sense of loss, or rather, I felt like I might never be able to have it. That kind of heartache was worse than death. Every time Lord Su saw the Qin clan couple abuse the single couple, he would be tortured. Yet, he took the initiative to torture himself. As long as he could see Huamin, he would definitely go there. As long as he didn't cause trouble for Huamin, no matter what, he felt that it was worth it. However, the growing longing and the pain of not being able to get what he wanted always accompanied him. Since you know that it doesn't belong to you, why don't you give up? Sometimes, being too stubborn isn't a good thing." Huamin comforted Su Yu. To be honest, she really hoped that Su Yu could let go. After all, this was a form of spiritual relief for her. She never thought that one day she would be able to marry Qin Shu, the man that she loved deeply when she was young. But since she was already married, she never thought that they would be separated in the future. So, forget about Su Yu. Even if someone better and more outstanding than Su Yu appeared, Huamin would remain indifferent. Perhaps she felt that she was being too cold, but this was her principle. She didn't want things that didn't belong to her, but she had to fight for things that belonged to her. Hee, you make it sound so easy. How could I give up so easily? Do you think this is the market? If you don't have cucumbers, you can just buy radishes. Su Yu smiled bitterly. Huamin remained silent. That's why I said that God is playing with me. If you believe in fate, you should know that meeting in life is to constantly repay the debts owed in the previous life. Buddha said that if there is no debt, why would you want to meet? I feel that. I might have owed you too much in my previous life, so I'm unlucky in this life, letting you torture me until my liver and guts are broken. Su Yu, actually, I don't know how to say this, but I don't like to drag things out. If I don't like you, then I don't like you. If it wasn't for Qin Shu, I wouldn't have fallen in love with you. Feelings aren't something that can be solved just by being touched. Two people have to be attracted to each other, but you can't attract me. So, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you met me too late. The truth is, if I didn't marry Qin Shu, I wouldn't be with you either. This is our destiny. Huami knew that every time she said something harsh, so you would feel bad for a long time. But if she didn't make things clear and didn't make him feel bad, he wouldn't understand. Perhaps he would continue to be obsessed with her. In this life, Qin Shu would be the only one who wouldn't realize his mistakes. She really didn't need anything more, stupid girl. I understand what you're saying. The truth is, I don't want to be with you anymore. After all, compared to Qin Shu, I've given up too little. Sometimes, I just wonder if I can take care of you for a while. Even if it's just for a day. But I know that for me, it's still out of my reach. Forget it, go to bed early. Don't listen to me talk about all this nonsense. Also, thank you for being my witness. You're a real man. You never backed down when something big happened. If you were a man, I would have sworn brothers with you. Huamin smiled but didn't reply. For her, the less she talked to Su Yu, the better. She had to be careful when Qin Shu was angry this time. After all, so many people saw how much Su Yu loved her. No one would feel good if they were in Qin Shu's shoes. Mr. Qin was already very generous. It can only be said that he spoiled her to no end. Early in the morning, Huamin woke up a little late because it was the weekend. While she was eating breakfast, the news on the newspaper caught her attention again. Today's news was about Song Yisher, and there was a huge photo of her. The headline was, "Misunderstanding, pure misunderstanding, mysterious beauty turns out to be a young Lady Qin's best friend." Huamian read the detailed news report unhurriedly and chuckled. Song Yisher's methods were nothing to scoff at. Chapter 943. So, that was what the report said. Song Yisher was indeed in President Qin's car that day. However, she was only in the same car as President Qin because she lived at Imperial Park. Most importantly, she was good friends with President Qin's wife, Huamin. The day after the incident, they were drinking coffee and chatting happily. The photos from the coffee shop were also exposed, showing that it was indeed Huamin chatting with her. However, that wasn't the truth. Huamin sighed. He never expected to be set up by Song Yisher. Song Yisher obviously sent someone to follow them at the coffee shop that day. Then, she purposely spread the news that they were good friends, so Qin Shu's affair was nonsense. What was Song Yisher's motive for doing this? It was simple. She wanted to clear Qin Shu's name. She cared a lot about Qin Shu's reputation. Moreover, she had always played the role of a good daughter to the Qin clan couple. Therefore, if people were to smear Qin Shu's reputation, she would be in a difficult position. Therefore, she decided to use Huamin to clear her and Qin Shu's names. This way, Huamin would be the target of all the criticism. After all, the incident between Huamin and Su Yu wasn't over yet. That day, Song Isher posted something on Weibo. She said, "Hearts need to be pruned regularly, or else weeds will grow." However, a large number of fans supported her in the comments section. "Goddess, we support you. You're beautiful, but your heart is even more beautiful. Song Goddess, you're so beautiful. You look like sisters yelling. Why don't you act? It's such a waste of your looks. Goddess, you're more beautiful than GK as a young lady. I don't know why President Chin didn't choose you back then. I heard you two have known each other since you were 8. Goddess, when is your school opening? I want to take my niece and nephew to paint. I heard you're a master of Chinese painting." Song Isher's Weibo was filled with fans who were sucking up to her, full of true fans. Even Jiang Xiaowei, who was taking care of her baby, couldn't stand it anymore. She registered a Smuff account called Specialist in treating all kinds of bitches. Then he posted on Song Isher's Weibo, "Goddess, I want to ask, there are so many houses in our city. Why did you go to Imperial Park? Don't you know that's President Chin's house? Also, I heard that you haven't returned to China for many years. Now that you've been back for less than a month, I don't know how you became such good friends with President Chin's wife. Finally, I heard that several of your socialite friends are blacklisted by President Chin's wife. Please come out and explain." Jiang Xiaowei didn't say much, but every word was sharp and to the point. When Song Isher saw the comments, she was truly stumped. However, she did not answer. She continued to pretend to be silent and aloof. On the other hand, many fans who did not know the truth scolded Jiang Xiaowei. "You're such a vicious woman. What does other people's business have to do with you? I can tell from your name that you're not a good person. Don't slander my goddess. Get lost." Goddess? Ha! These two words are so worthless these days. Are you sure goddess is still a compliment? Jiang Xiaowei replied casually. "Honey, what are you doing?" Wei Liao was taking Jiang Xiaowei for a walk outside when he noticed that she was sitting in the pavilion, fiddling with her phone. "Oh, nothing. I'm just fighting with the puppies." Jiang Xiaowei smiled and put away her phone. I suddenly thought of a name for our child." Jiang Xiaowei had an idea and changed the subject. What name?" Wei Liao's intuition told him that Jiang Xiaowei's name might not be a good one. As expected, she said enthusiastically, "If it's a boy, we'll call him Wei something. Wei Liao, if it's a girl, we'll call her Wei Wei something. We can call her by her nickname. Hey, Wei Wei, your mom's calling you home for dinner." Wei Liao, it's so confusing. Wei Liao was completely confused by her words. "Why? Wei Wei, are you sure it's a human life? It sounded so what? Does it not sound good?" Jiang Xiaowei tilted her head and looked at Wei Liao. "Sure, but the name is a bit weird." "Huh, I think we should call the boy Wei Jiang and use your surname as his first name. If it's a girl, she'll be called Wei Wei and use your name as her first name. Her nickname can also be Little Wei Wei. How cute is that?" To his surprise, Jiang Xiaowei rolled her eyes at him. "It's so tacky. How can Jiang Xiaowei's child be so ordinary? She has to be a weirdo." After speaking, Jiang Xiaowei left, leaving Wei Liao alone in the wind. Song Isher successfully cleared Qin Chu and her name with photos. Most people believe that she and Huamin were indeed good friends. That night, another post was posted. The title was "Fickle and Scheming Bitches. All the women in the Hua family are trash." Once again, it caused an uproar because this post was the best post ever to slander Huamin, and it had a lot of clicks. Chapter 944. The post dug up Hua Min's past from the time she was born to after she got married. First, the post stated that a crooked stick would have a crooked shadow. All the women in the Hua family were bitches. Hua Yinyin was the first, and Hua Min was the second. Then, numerous bad things about Hua Yinyin were dug up. The post used her to confuse people so that they would shift the focus to Hua Min. Second, she was the daughter of the mistress. Yang Meirong knew that Hua Zhenghai was married, but she still got involved and gave birth to his daughter. Third, she pretended to be cool when she was in school. She wasn't popular, had no friends, and rarely attended class reunions. Fourth, She purposely tried to sow discord between Qin Shu and her parents, causing chaos in the Qin family. During this time, Lady Qin was hospitalized, but she didn't visit or allow Qin Shu to visit her. These were all leaked by GK's employees. Fifth, she interfered with GK's business and suppressed Annie Liang because she suspected that Annie Liang seduced Qin Shu. Therefore, she didn't arrange any work for Annie Liang and try to freeze her. She even transferred the higher-ups to another city to avenge her personal grudge. Sixth, she used her identity to do whatever she wanted at Southside Recuperation Center. Even President Wu didn't dare to mess with her. The most ridiculous part was that she suddenly changed from a nurse to a doctor. Seventh, she got close to N.I. Yang and bought his heart. Just as he was about to sign with Imperial Star, he betrayed Su Yu and betrayed his master. Eighth, she suppressed her ex-boyfriend Ning Ziyuan and forced Ning Ziyuan to divorce Wu Xiaoxue. Due to the Qin family's influence, Wu Xiaoxue was forced to go abroad. Ninth, she seduced Su Yu multiple times and played the two men at the peak of power in the palm of her hand. 10th, this woman was ambitious. She used everyone she could to take control of GK and even coveted Imperial Star. In conclusion, Huamian was a scheming bitch with a high IQ and EQ, a pretentious white lotus. It was only right that this woman didn't have children. It was karma. God was punishing her. Normally, Huamian wouldn't care about such a post, but the last sentence was the scariest. It was retribution for a woman like her to not have a child. Even God was punishing her. These words pierced Huamian's heart deeply. She sat alone in front of the gate of South Hill Manor, beside the fountain. Two streams of tears slowly flowed down her cheeks. If God had eyes, he should really give her a baby. She, Huamian, had never done anything that made her feel guilty. She had never let anyone down. Why did she have to bear such a crime? She could endure it. But what about Qin Shu? She really wanted to give birth to a child for Qin Shu, whether it was a boy or a girl, so that she could shut those evil people's mouths. She wanted them to see if Huamian didn't have children because of her evil deeds. A young lady. What's wrong? Uncle Lee walked over. I'm fine. I just don't feel too well. I'll ask the driver to take you to the hospital. It's okay, I'm fine. My eyes hurt. Maybe because I stayed up all night. Huamian waved her hands. Then she took out a tissue and wiped her tears. Please don't tell Mr. Qin that I cried, okay? He'll be worried. I know, a young lady. Uncle Lee nodded. After the post was posted, many people commented on Huamian's post. Most of them said that Huamian cheated on Huamian and deserved it. A small number of people who didn't know the truth said that they would wait for the results. However, this wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that at noon, Lady Qin came to stab Huamian in the back. Someone exposed a recording of Lady Qin online. It was a short interview. Mrs. Qin, what do you think about the post about your daughter-in-law? I rarely live with her, so I don't know the details. Is it true that she didn't come to visit you when you were hospitalized? Not even once? Yes, and she didn't want my son to come. During that time, my son and I were estranged. Then did you and Chairman Qin really have a falling out with your son because of this daughter-in-law? To be honest, it's like this. We used to have a good relationship with our son, but everything changed after she married into our family. Old Madam Qin's stab was timely and vicious. Her move of adding insult to injury basically blackened Huamian's reputation to the core. After the call records were exposed, more people believed the authenticity of the post. A large number of fans went to Southside to cause trouble, threatening to demand an explanation from Huamian. Fortunately, Huamian was on leave today and was at South Hill Manor. Sister Mian, did you see the news? Your mother-in-law is up to no good again. I don't think you'll be able to turn things around this time. Huasiqian sent a WeChat message. After reading Huasiqian's message, Huamian's face fell. Chapter 945. I saw it. Huamian replied with 3 simple words. You haven't been doing too well lately. Do you want to come back and stay for a few days? Huasiqian asked, why do you look like you're gloating when something happens to my family? What good will it do you? Huasiqian asked back. Huh, you're overthinking it. Little sister Mian, I'm just worried about you. That's why I asked if you need any help. No need, I'm fine. Okay then. All right, come back to the company when you're free. The old man is going to split the company. Okay. Huamin was never afraid of Lady Qin slandering him. After all, it wasn't the first day that she disliked him. The main problem was that the news about Song Yishi's innocence and the news about her defamation made her even more suspicious. Was this related to Huasiqian or Song Yishi? Or were the two of them working together? The more Huamin thought about it, the more he felt that the water was too deep. Qin Manor. As usual, Song Yishi drove to the Qin Manor in the morning and bought a lot of fresh flowers and fruits. This seemed to have become a habit of hers, and the maids treated her as a part of the family. Don't put these lilies in the bedroom, just put them in the living room. The fragrance of lilies is bad for the body. If you smell them for too long, you'll get dizzy. Song Yishi instructed. Okay, Miss Song. Oh, right. Remember to wash the strawberries a few more times and soak them in salt water for half an hour. Otherwise, the pesticides will remain on the surface. Okay, Miss Song. Also, when you cook dinner in the future, don't put too much salt. It's okay if it's a little light. It's good for the body. Mr. Qin and Mama Qin are at the peak of their illness. I don't want anything to happen to them. Okay, Miss Song. Song Yishi carefully explained the trifles of life to her. Lady Qin seemed to be very satisfied with her future daughter-in-law. She complained to Qin Yuman, "It's all your fault. Why did you make a bet with our son? You should have just let Shirshir marry into our family. How could there be so many problems? It's not our decision." Chu picked Huamin himself. Qin Yuman also liked Song Yishi very much because he had been dating Mayor Song for many years and had a good relationship with the Song family. Song Yishi was so obedient. However, he didn't dislike Huamin. After all, she was the girl his son liked. It was better for parents not to interfere too much in marriage. Unfortunately, Lady Qin didn't understand this principle. Sure, don't be so busy. Come and sit down, Lady Qin shouted enthusiastically. Song Yishi was wearing a brown Valentino dress and small leather boots. She looked very exquisite. Mama Qin, I bought some winter melon today. I'm going to make lamb stew and winter melon for you and Mr. Qin at noon. My mom said my cooking improved. Okay, we'll wait for it. All right, should we call Chu and ask him to come home for lunch? Lady Qin seemed to want Song Yishi to make the call. No, he's too busy at work. We shouldn't disturb him. You're too considerate of him. You're such a good girl. My heart aches for you. Lady Qin held Song Yishi's hand. Song Yishi only smiled. You saw that post, right? What did our family do? Ever since that woman married into our family has been in chaos. The scariest thing is that Chu is still unrepentant. He's been bewitched by that woman. Look at the number of crimes written on this post. It's scary how scheming a woman like that is. Sure, what do you think about this? Lady Qin opened the forum on her laptop for Song Yishi to see. Chapter 946. Song Yishi laughed after reading the post. Mama Qin, I think someone is trying to defame Huamin on purpose. I don't think she would do that. If that was the case, how could a smart man like Qin Chu not see it? Also, don't talk about Huamin to the media anymore. She's your daughter-in-law after all. Don't wash your dirty linen in public. You have to think about your family. Mama Qin, you have good intentions, but you're too impulsive. What if someone with ulterior motives takes advantage of you? Look, Sure has a point. I tried to persuade you, but you didn't listen to me. You only know how to talk nonsense to the media and say that your son is angry. Qin Yuman immediately blamed Lady Qin when he heard Song Yishi's words. I was just telling the truth, okay? I didn't wrong her. Lady Qin rolled her eyes at her husband. Mama Qin, it's not wrong to tell the truth, but we have to think about the big picture. I think we shouldn't make things too difficult for Qin Chu. He works so hard every day and still has to deal with these family matters when he comes home. It's really annoying. I'm worried about him. Sure, you're so sensible. You know how to think about her, Chu. You're not as selfish and cold-blooded as that woman. My son is good to her and her family, but what's the point? In the end, she's still fooling around outside and cuckolding my son. Anyway, I really don't like her, and I'll never like her. In order to please Song Yishur, Lady Qin kept saying that Huamin was bad. However, Song Yishur was smart. She wouldn't say anything bad about Huamin in front of outsiders. Instead, she would defend Huamin. That way, she would look like the most sensible and considerate woman in the world. Even Qin Chu couldn't tell what she was trying to do. That was why she was so smart. Huamian wanted to go out for a walk on the pedestrian street during her break. Every time she heard the finance director say that the 13 shops under her were quite prosperous, she felt quite gratified. She really didn't expect that the shop that she had bought out of spite would be revived by her. Now, it had become one of the most popular commercial streets in the city, and business was surprisingly good. However, due to the rampant rumors, it was inconvenient for her to go out. There were so many media outlets and paparazzi around. She might even be accused of secretly meeting her lover if she ate noodles. She simply picked up a fashion magazine and went to the balcony on the top floor to read a book, grow some flowers, and drink some tea. Huamin did not expect that Jiang Xiaowei would come. Jiang Xiaowei drove her own car, a low-profile Lexus. When the security room informed her, she immediately let them in. Then, he jogged all the way down to welcome this strong, pregnant woman. "Why are you here? Why didn't you tell me in advance?" Huamin was pleasantly surprised to see Jiang Xiaowei. "Nothing much. I was bored, so I came to accompany you." Then, the two of them went up to the balcony on the top floor. The maid brought in fruits and flower tea, as well as some macarons and tiramisu. Jiang Xiaowei sat on a rocking chair and looked at the scenery outside the window. She exclaimed, "Your house is really good. It's worth 800 million yuan, let alone 400 million yuan. To wake up in such an environment every day, it's like a god. If you like it, you can ask Wei Liao to get you one. The Wei family has too much money to burn." Huamin chuckled. "Forget it. He doesn't have the time. By the time he's done, my baby will probably be old enough to eat soy sauce." He was really happy to chat with Jiang Xiaowei. She spoke without thinking, and her domineering and cute personality matched his sincerity. Jiang Xiaowei was scrolling through Weibo on her phone. Then, she asked casually, "Have you seen Weibo? It's blowing up recently. You're on the top search list for 24 hours a day." "Ha! I'm that popular." Huamin thought that even the artists under his company weren't as famous as he was. He was on the top search list for 24 hours in a row, which was updated every 10 minutes. It was obvious how powerful he was. The person who's defaming you behind your back is very interesting. They want to use public opinion to suppress you or make Qin Chu lose trust in you. That's what they mean, right? After Jiang Xiaowei finished speaking, she logged into her alternate account, Cure All Kinds of Bitches. Chapter 9:47. Then, he went to Song Yishur's Weibo. Song Yishur had only been back for a short period of time, but in less than a month, she had already gained 5 million fans. It was shocking. Song Yishur had just updated her Weibo with a group photo with Lady Qin and Chairman Qin. The caption read, "I was lucky enough to become a member of this family when I was 8 years old. Even after so many years, Daddy Qin and Mama Qin still treat me the same as before. I'm grateful for everything I have today." Then, the comment section was flooded with comments. "Goddess, you're so lucky. I'm so jealous of you. Sure. When are you going to give us some benefits? Send us a picture of you acting cute. I really want to see how our goddess looks like when she acts cute. Sure. Is that Cartier's latest bracelet on your wrist? Is it sold in China? Beauty song. You're the most well-mannered socialite I've ever met. I heard that you're a master of Chinese art. When are you going to show us your skills? Goddess, I always thought that you and President Qin were the perfect match. You've been living with the Qin family since you were 8 years old. You must have a lot of interesting childhood stories with President Qin. Can you tell us about them?" Most of the comments were Song Yishur's fans. They liked her and thought that she was a good person. She was pretty, rich, highly educated, and a master of Chinese art. Most importantly, she was gentle and always posted some warm words. I can't take it anymore. I want to throw up, Jiang Xiaowei said. What's wrong? Is your stomach uncomfortable? Huamin really thought that she wasn't feeling well and almost brought her a trash can. It's not that I want to throw up. I just want to throw up when I see Song Yisher, that supreme bitch. Supreme bitch? Huamin was a bit confused. It was the first time he heard this word. I invented this word. It's the highest level of a scheming bitch. Does it match her personality? Jiang Xiaowei asked. Huamin smiled. She knew that if Jiang Xiaowei didn't like someone, she wouldn't say anything nice. Therefore, Jiang Xiaowei asked again with another account. Since you have such a good relationship with the Qin family, and you called on your parents, why didn't Qin Chu marry you? Have you had enough? Huamin was bored by Jiang Xiaowei's scolding on Song Yisher's Weibo. I just can't stand how pretentious she is. But aren't we also the type to act tough? Huamin asked with a smile. How can that be the same? Both of us are low-key and appropriately pretentious. She's pretentious 24 hours a day without any blind spots. Moreover, her pretentiousness is so low. She thinks that no one can see her true face just because she's wearing a mask. She's really bad. Huamin didn't say anything. She just sipped her flower tea quietly. Jiang Xiaowei went to Huamin's Weibo to take a look. She had just posted a poem by Sangyang Jiatsua, and there were tens of thousands of comments below it. It was different from Song Yisher's. Most of the comments were probably scolding Huamin. You're confessing to sue you, aren't you? Shameless. Huamin, how can you face your husband by doing this? You scumbag. Qin Shu has done so much for you, but you're indifferent. I really don't like you. Go ahead and cry if you want a divorce. What a pretentious woman. You're courting death. After reading it, Jiang Xiaowei was furious. She slammed the tablet on the small table beside her with a loud thud. What the fuck? Are these anti-fans stupid? They don't know the truth, so why are they slandering you? How can they say that you're indifferent to Qin Chu's love? I'm speechless. If you don't care, why would you marry Qin Chu? If you don't care, why would you put aside your pride to beg for help when GK was in a crisis? You even put on smoky makeup and walked the red carpet like a clown. Are they blind that you're so protective of your husband? Ever since you got together with Qin Chu, you've had a lot of green tea bitches, right? First it was Jiang Linyue, and now it's Song Yisher. It's tiring enough for you to work and deal with those bitches at the same time. Damn it, these retarded fans are still slandering you. Chapter 948. Jiang Xiaowei really liked Hua Min's personality, so she wanted to be friends with her. One of the best things about being friends was that the person had to be real and not the two-faced type. At least Hua Min was real. Maybe it was because she was quick-witted, so she was calmer and more collected than others. But that didn't mean she was cold-blooded and heartless. All these years, she had sacrificed for her family and her brother, including taking care of Ning Ziyuan's feelings after breaking up with him, risking her life to save Wu Xiaoshue's child, risking her life to save the bleeding pregnant woman, risking her life to save Zhu Lingling from the nightclub. To Hua Min, she always knew what she was doing and never regretted it, because that was her way of life. What touched Jiang Xiaowei the most was that she didn't care about the danger she was in to help Su Yu. Actually, if it were her, she wouldn't have dared to do that, but Hua Min was so brave in every decision she made. If Hua Min was afraid of tarnishing her reputation and acted like a coward, then Jiang Xiaowei would really look down on her. It was said that a man had to be brave enough to take responsibility for his actions, and it was the same for a woman. She had to be magnanimous and never let anyone down. This kind of Hua Min might be controversial and have a lot of black marks, but Jiang Xiaowei liked it. She truly admired Hua Min. In this world, there were many women who wore masks like Song Yisher, but there were very few who were as magnanimous as Hua Min. Song Yisher was common, but Hua Min wasn't. This was the most precious and rare thing. Song Yisher had a lot of friends. She even had a group of girlfriends, all of whom were rich heiresses. But she didn't have many close friends. Hua Min had very few friends, only Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei. But when she was in trouble, These two women would go through fire and water for her, because she was worth it. Xiaowei, calm down. It's really okay. I don't care what other people say. No matter what they say, it won't change the fact that I'm me. I'm Huamin. I believe in my feelings for Qin Shu, and he understands. There's no need to say too much between us. Time will prove everything. Huamin wore a loose-fitting short-sleeve shirt with a Winnie the Pooh logo on it. It was simple and cartoonish. She looked out the window. Her side profile without makeup was absolutely beautiful. Her facial features weren't particularly exquisite, but they were very recognizable. Huamin, even I can't be as calm as you. I actually care about what other people think. After this incident, I was so worried about you that I even created a second account to scold Song Yishu. But you're right, all of this doesn't mean much. In the end, it all came to an end. You really don't have to care about those people who don't like you. They like you anyway, so they won't make you gain anything. Haha, you're right. Even if they like me, they won't make my life more brilliant. To me, people I don't care about are just passers-by. Huamin put down her teacup and looked at Jiang Xiaowei with a faint smile. Actually, I'm curious. Have you ever complained about your background because of the hardships you've had in the past? Jiang Xiaowei knew that Huamin had gone through a lot in the past, and it wasn't easy for her and Qin Shu to be together. To be honest, I used to be like this. I was young back then, so it was inevitable that I would complain when I encountered setbacks. But I don't anymore because I realize that every decision I make now will affect my future. Some people are born with a good hand of cards, but they play them badly, such as Hui Yin. Some people are born with a bad hand of cards, but they work hard to improve, such as me. Then what kind of person am I? Jiang Xiaowei laughed. You were born with a good set of cards, and you play them well. This is the spring of Do Diju. You're making fun of me. Jiang Xiaowei didn't care about her image and laughed out loud. Then, she sent Wei Liao a WeChat message and told him what Huamin said. Wei Liao was silent for a long time, and then he replied, Then am I the farmer who played Do Diju with you? I lost and was captured. Huamin was about to get up and get Jiang Xiaowei a thin blanket because he realized that it was a little cold outside the window. At this moment, his phone rang. Hello? Huamin looked at the unfamiliar number and hesitated for a few seconds before answering. Hello, Huamin. I'm Suyu's mother. Lady Su's voice was as gentle as water. Chapter 949. Hello, Auntie Su. Huamin was a bit surprised, but he still greeted Mrs. Su politely. Is it convenient for us to meet now? Yes. Lady Su nodded. Okay, tell me the location, and I'll come find you. Huamin knew that Lady Su wouldn't come looking for him for no reason, so he respected her and didn't reject her. I'll send a driver to pick you up. Sure, I'm at South Hill Manor. Huamin gave her the address. Okay, see you in a bit. Lady Su's voice was gentle. Auntie Su, don't tell me she's Suyu's mother. Jiang Xiaowei looked surprised. That's right, that's her. Oh, why is she looking for you? I don't know. Haha. But I've met Lady Su twice, and I think she's a nice person. She's a well-mannered elder. Ever since Huamin met Suyu's mother twice, he suddenly felt like he was unlucky to have a mother-in-law like Lady Qin. So, without realizing it, he had a good impression of Lady Su. Okay, then I'll go now. Let's meet up another day. You can come with me when I try on dresses. Okay. Huamin nodded. Jiang Xiaowei left South Hill Manor first. Lady Su's men were very efficient. Not long after Jiang Xiaowei left, a black Audi A8 arrived at South Hill Manor. Miss Hua, I'm here to pick you up on Madam's orders. Okay. Huamin nodded and got into the car. On the way, she didn't forget to flirt with Mr. Qin. She first sent him an 88 yuan red pocket, and Mr. Qin immediately accepted it. He even added, Honey, you're so generous. Huamin sent a smiley emoji. That's true. Other people's wives at most give me 88 yuan as pocket money. Am I good to you? Thank you, my wife, for your generosity. Qin Shu was in a high-level meeting, and he smiled as he typed on his phone. Everyone was also confused. No one dared to interrupt. afraid that the boss would flip out. Ahem, boss, should we continue? Yang whispered into his ear. You can continue. Chinshu raised his head and said calmly. Yes, boss. About the increase in our market for this quarter, the marketing director said. Chinshu was playing with his phone with his head down. No one knew what he was saying to Huamin, but he seemed to be in a good mood. However, was it really a good idea to show off his love with his wife on WeChat during a meeting? Boss, does her father know that you're so naughty? Yang was truly worried about the boss, as expected. After the marketing director finished his report, he purposely asked, Boss, I'm done. Do you have anything to add? Chinshu put down his phone, looked around, and said, It's almost the end of the year. It should be the peak season, but you're telling me that the increase won't be more than 8%? Are you kidding me? I remember a meeting last month. I said that 10% was the minimum. If it didn't go over 10%, I wouldn't be able to explain myself. Now that it's only 8%, you're so proud? You want me to add something? What can I add? I'll give you half a month. If you can't increase that 2%, your department's year-end bonus will be canceled. The marketing director immediately broke out in a cold sweat. He thought that since his boss was playing with his phone while he was in a meeting, he wouldn't be in the mood to listen. That was why he was so proud of himself and thought that he could get away with it. He didn't expect his boss to be able to multitask. He was playing with his phone while listening to every single word. Seeing that the marketing department was being criticized, the female director of the administrative department said protectively, President Sheen, you can't blame them. Our colleagues did their best. Chapter 950. Chinshu looked at the female director and sneered. Then, he asked, It's normal for the marketing department to be under a lot of pressure because their bonuses and base salaries are much higher than other departments. Don't think that administrative staff like you only need to do your job well. Last time, for the 30-year anniversary, if you didn't have the help of PR and publicity, do you think you could have done it yourself? For the New Year's party, I'll leave the project to you. You have less than 20 days to prepare. If you don't pass, you'll be responsible for running away. President Sheen, the female director was so regretful that she wanted to slap herself. Why did she have to say that? Now, her boss was going all out, and she was dragged into this mess. The New Year's party was also a difficult issue. If it was only 20 days, it would be a bit difficult. Does anyone else have anything to say? Qin Shu asked coldly. President Qin, after Director Jiang Linhua left, our department's performance has been declining. Before, when Director Jiang was here, we could submit at least 3 out of 10 designs. Now, we can't even pass 1 out of 20 designs. I think it's better to transfer Director Jiang back. I've talked to her in private, and she personally doesn't think she's suitable for the position of president of our branch in T-City. President Qin, please consider the bigger picture of the company. The person who spoke was a manager of the design department. He used to work under Jiang Linhua, but ever since she left, he wasn't good at management. Therefore, he fearlessly made this request. Qin Shu looked at him quietly and only asked, You rely on Director Jiang so much. What if she resigns? What do you plan to do? Do you want me to beg her to come back? No, President Qin, that's not what I meant. You don't improve yourself, and you still rely on an employee who left. I wanted to give you a chance, but you're not up to it. Fine, from now on, you can return to your original position. I'll appoint a director of the design department. I want you to remember that GK didn't get to where it is today because of one person's ability, but the team's ability. The company can survive without anyone, but not all companies will give you a chance like GK. President Qin, I just want the company to be better. I just think that Director Jiang is very capable. The person said with an aggrieved expression. I can see who's doing well and who's doing bad. The company doesn't keep idle people, but we won't miss out on talent either. I know how to make arrangements for Director Jiang. I don't need you to teach me. If you have the time, why don't you reflect on yourself and think about how you can come up with more eye-catching drawings instead of relying on external help. Qin Shu stepped down from his position as the director of the design department. Furthermore, He even scolded all the other higher-ups. The director of the design department lowered his head silently. This was the first time he felt that Boss Chin's words were so sharp. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to make a sound. Any other questions? Chin Chu stood up and adjusted the cuffs of his black suit. Everyone was silent. Boss, the sales department hasn't given out the bonus for this month. Do you want it to be included with this month's salary? Or do you want to delay it until next month or the end of the year? Assistant Yang asked. When the old president was still around, he made the same rule. Because the sales department's bonus was relatively large, it was usually settled every 3 months or half a year. However, after Chin Chu came, it was settled every month. However, President Chin was in a bad mood recently. The sales director was smart and knew how to read his mood, so he didn't dare to bring it up. Instead, he privately complained to Assistant Yang twice. Therefore, Assistant Yang suddenly thought of this and casually asked, but the sales director was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Upon hearing Assistant Yang's question, the male director of the sales department immediately stood up and pretended to be a good person. President Chin, there's no rush. We can wait. It's okay. The company has its difficulties, and everyone understands. There's really no rush. Chapter 9:51. Chin Chu nodded and glanced at Assistant Yang. Of course, of course. The sales department works so hard, running the business under the sun and wind. It's only a small bonus, so it's not too late. Tell the finance department that the bonus will be paid monthly. If an employee has any difficulties, they can also apply for an advance payment. Of course, it has to be approved by the supervisor. Okay, President Chin. Assistant Yang smiled. Luckily, his boss was very kind and did what he had to do. After Chin Chu left the meeting room, the executives finally let out a sigh of relief. President Chin is scary. I'm really scared of him. Every time I see him, I feel like a cold gust of wind is blowing at me. Haha. Yeah, our boss is famous for being cold and aloof. Your sales department is amazing. President Chin is so lucky. The executives looked at the sales director enviously. Our boss empathizes with our department's hard work. Haha. Let's not compare. When Chin Chu returned to his office, Song Yisher called. However, Chin Chu didn't pick up. He felt like Song Yisher had been talking to him a lot lately. Even if nothing happened, Huamin must be unhappy. If so you talk to Huamin so often, he wouldn't be happy either. So, Chin Chu let the phone ring, but he had no intention of picking it up. Boss, why hasn't a young lady been coming to the company lately? Did you guys really fight? Assistant Yang read the hot news on the newspaper and was really worried about his boss's relationship with a young lady. To be honest, he was a fan of Chin Chu and Huamian, and he really thought that they were the perfect couple. When did you start to care about my personal life? Aren't you overstepping your authority as an assistant? Chin Chu looked up and stared at Assistant Yang. Assistant Yang shrunk his neck in fear. Haha, calm down. I was just asking. My wife is a fan of a young lady, and she often fights with the haters to defend a young lady. She asks me about it every day, but I don't know how to answer her. Little Yang continued to play the part of a naive and sweet boy, hoping that the boss wouldn't get angry. Then, as expected, Chin Chu's expression softened considerably. Then tell your wife not to worry. Does that mean you guys are fine? Haha. I knew that you would not have any conflicts with a young lady since you love your wife so much. As soon as Yang heard his boss's words, his mood immediately improved. Chin Chu was twirling a pen in his hand. He was thinking about meeting Huamin tonight. In the past, he used to think that it was nonsense to say that a day apart felt like 3 autumns. Now, he felt that these words made a lot of sense. How is this a song of the 3 autumns? It was practically in seasons apart, okay? He missed hugging Huamin to sleep. Looking at her sleeping posture in his arms, she was just like a kitten. Honey, I'll look for you at South Hill Manor tonight. He sent her a WeChat message. No, honey. For the first time, Mr. Chin acted coquettishly. Although Huamin's heart was about to soften, he still felt uncomfortable at the thought of being set up by someone. He decided to hold it in and catch the person behind all this. Therefore, he comforted Qin Shu. Honey, be good. We have to work together to catch the bad guy. Then how are you going to make it up to me these past few days? Qin Shu asked proudly. Anyway, in order to calm him down, Huamin made up his mind and replied, Really? Really? Then when this is over, I want to do it 10 times a night. Huamin, I want to use all the positions on your body. Huamin, oh, right. I also want you to wear sexy pajamas and act as a bunny girl for me. Huamin, bunny girl? How did he come up with such a lowly method? What a godlike idea. Qin Shu, you're the president of a top company. Can you not be so dirty? Huamin was speechless. Mr. Qin said that he can be so dirty to his wife. When did Mr. Qin say something like that? Huamin asked seriously. I think if Mr. Qin was still alive, he would have said something like that. Fuck off. Huamin was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. The car slowly drove into a high-end residential area. Aren't we going to a restaurant or a tea house? Huamin thought that Lady Su wanted to meet him in a quiet place. Why was it in a residential area? Madam said to bring you to her home. What? The Su family? Huamian couldn't keep her cool anymore and couldn't sit still. So, this was the most famous residential area in the Red Military District? It was said that this residential area was heavily guarded. There were even exaggerated rumors that each villa had a secret tunnel. Anyways, it was very mysterious. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.